have you caught up on Stranger Things?
No, I don't watch that shit.
Oh my fucking god, dude. Are you serious?
I don't watch it. No, I don't watch that show.
Why not?
I don't think it's a good show.
How do you know that if you don't watch it?
I watched 2 episodes and I was like, I'm good.
Oh my god.
I gave it a shot.
Oh
2
my
episodes.
God.
Well, you know what? I should have did. I usually
Yeah,
do 3
2
episodes.
episodes? Come on, bro.
They were mad boring.
2
mad
episodes.
boring. Mad boring.
Man, okay. Well, so I watched season 4 this past week, right? Like last week.
Oh brother.
And it brought me back. Season 4 was amazing. Okay, excellent. Like, I think it's better than any season they've come out with so far. Seasons 2 and 3 were pretty mediocre, right? I didn't like them very much. Season 1,
Okay.
I think we all hold on a pedestal, and I'm watching it again. And while I disagree with you, I don't disagree with you as hard as I would have last week before rewatching most of it.
Okay.
I think season 1 is really good. It does take a little while to get going. Particularly like I'm trying to remember specifically. I think it's episode 3 where things start to get a lot more interesting.
Everyone keeps telling me that.
Episodes 1 and 2 are definitely very like, focused on the kids and they're like, learning about the characters and their normal lives, and like Nancy and Steve are dating and Jonathan's a weirdo.
Yeah, I think that's what I didn't like about it. I mean, the show's like, oh, guys, look at this nostalgia trip. Don't you remember the 80s? And it's like, all right, bro, I get it. Like, we love the 80s. Like, can we just get to an actual plot now?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Point taken. But this is my thing. Okay. I'm somebody who really likes the quiet moments in stories, like in TV shows, books, and otherwise, where like nothing important is happening. And I think Stranger Things does those quiet moments almost better than anything. It's just that there's a lot of those, and I think for maybe for you and other people, it's like too much sometimes, where there's like too much of that. It's not
that there's quiet moments for me. It's just that there's nothing of substance in the quiet moments. To be honest with you, maybe I need to give the show a fair shot. I had to come at it with a clean slate, but maybe like years later. As of right now, my problem with the show is not necessarily with the show, but the whole 80s aesthetic. I'm tired of shows doing that, and it's so obnoxious now. And I know Stranger Things was like the first one to do it, kind of, or not kind of, but they kind of brought the trend back, right?
Yeah.
But it's like when I watched it, I was like, I'm kind of over it. Even when it first dropped, when Stranger Things season 1 first dropped, I tried to watch it, and I just wasn't into it. Like I tried to watch the first 2 episodes, and I wasn't into it. Now, interesting enough, it's funny that you bring up season 4 because I walked in on Deanna watching season 4, and I didn't know what the show was, and all I saw was a glimpse of like them in like some kind of like a flashback scene or whatever. They were in some kind of like, facility or whatever. And the guy was telling him to like, what did you see? Do you see mind reading? Or he was like mind reading, or not mind reading, like doing a visual thing. The dude can see other spots with his mind or whatever. And then like a monster attacked and killed everybody in the facility. And then it was like the little girl from season 1 or whatever. Hopefully I didn't spoil it for anybody there. But it was like the little girl from season 1.
You did.
Okay. All right. So it was like the little girl from season 1. And the only reason I know who that was is because like she's everywhere. She plastered everywhere. So I was like, oh, okay, this is Stranger Things. I'm like, this is really cool. Yeah. So I may go back and watch it, but if I gotta go through like three seasons just to get to that point, I'm just like, bro, I don't know if I can do it.
Okay.
But it did grab me.
Okay.
It did grab me.
Season 4, like, I mean, talk to Deanna about it. I don't know if she's finished it or not, but dude, like, it's fucking awesome. Like, it's like from wall to wall, just like great television. There are some criticisms I have of it for sure, and I'm kind of in line with Cosmonaut. He did like a little quickie on it, on what he said. There's plot lines outside of Hawkins in season 4 that I found very uninteresting and almost like they felt like excuses to keep characters relevant, and they really weren't in a lot of ways. And one particular plot line that happened in California felt like it was kind of writing a couple characters out of the show, you know, almost, but they weren't really, but it kind of felt that way because it just nothing with them happening was really important. So I see what you mean. The show always kind of has elements like that, but dude, like the primary plot line, right? The like primary like a plot line for every season is really good. I think even seasons 2 and 3, as much as I was talking shit about them a little bit,
Okay.
like the primary stuff with the monsters and the you know, I don't even know how much you know about the show, but the upside down, like the alternate world or whatever, like all that is like super fucking interesting. Like, you know, all the shit around the 80s and stuff. Like, yes, it's a nostalgia trip. They're really playing it up. They definitely play it up in season 4 really heavily. There's a couple moments with music that are really like in your face, but one of them I fucking like lost my shit on. It was like, oh, it was fucking awesome, I thought. And then there was you know, there's callbacks to shit like fucking Conan the Barbarian in there and stuff. Like, so there's a lot of references and stuff like that, but I'm the kind of person, I love those kind of references. I'm not an 80s
Mhm.
kid though. I didn't grow up in the 80s. There's specific things though in the 80s that I'm, you know, very in tune with.
I
So
would
I
say
get
a
the
lot of the
references, but
80s
yeah, I see where you're
trans
coming from.
so yeah, I would say a lot of the 80s transcribed to the 90s really well. Like
Mhm.
it's easy to blend for me. Like I mean, I was born in 89, so I didn't experience the 80s at all,
Right.
right? But
Yeah, same here.
it was still stuff that was like, at least in my childhood, a lot of shit was still from the 80s around me, and it kind of blended in with my 90s experience like really
I think
well.
that's true for
Um
most of us that were like
okay.
90s kids.
Mhm.
The 80s definitely blended into it, especially cartoons, right?
Yeah, yep.
Like things like He-Man and shit like that, Thundercats, all that stuff.
Yep.
Like a lot of that, you know, we all watched it or saw it or experienced it in some way. So it's definitely there.
Yeah.
But I would encourage you to stick with the show. The show is not perfect. It's not one of the best shows ever made. I don't think it's that crazy
Okay.
good,
I mean,
but it's
you're
worth
the first person
watching. These characters are excellent. That's the reason the show is so appealing to me. Is not only is the a plot generally always good, but the characters themselves are really really good, and they do a much better job of having meaningful moments with those characters. Some are better than others, but they're there for sure. So
okay. I mean, I'll give it a shot. I mean, if you and Deanna have really great taste in shows. Every show she watches, I end up watching myself.
yeah.
So it's like,
Hmm.
I'll give it another chance. Cause she said the same thing too to me. She was like, "Yeah, cause she's quick to drop a show. Like
Yeah.
she watches like one episode. I'm like,
Oh, so
I'm
am I,
out."
dude. So am I. If it's not good, I'm out. I don't have time for that shit. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'm with you.
yeah. So, I'll give it a shot because that's fun. I say that, but then I watched like 2 seasons of Raised by Wolves, so that show is like fucking dummy slow as fuck.
Oh
So,
my god. Hey man, you
but
know what?
I, I,
It's I
I
don't know.
like that show. So, but
Yeah, there's just sometimes like I think I don't know. It's hard with the kids in the first season because there are times where their acting is really not up to par, you know, and you can see it, you know, for sure, and it hurts certain scenes. And then there's some plot lines that are it just takes a really long time for all the plot lines to converge, and it can be really frustrating to watch. But if you more if you kind of focus on it more from the angle of the mystery itself, because it's literally like a mystery, the whole season is about a mystery, is about the mystery, you know, at the center of it.
yeah,
And that is very compelling television, a lot of it, especially the stuff around Hopper, the police chief. I find his stuff to be really interesting, and then Joyce Byers, who's the mom of one of the kids, and her stuff's really interesting. I think the stuff with 11, who's the little girl you were talking about from the flashback, is less interesting on a second viewing. It's probably interesting on a first viewing for sure, but I don't know. Her character's weird. I don't. It's like she's good. Like the actress is great, and I think the character is definitely interesting in and of itself. But there are times where there's too much around her, and we're not really getting enough information. You know, so I don't know. It's and she's kind of a like a get out of jail free card a lot of the time for the plot. Like she fixes a lot of
Mm,
problems, you know.
okay.
So it, you know, that's where her character is like, you know, almost like Goku in this universe. Like she's the answer to every issue, you know, like
Okay.
so that's where the show can definitely be weaker for sure. But yeah, there I think in season 2, the thing is I say season 2 and 3 are weaker. I mean, I'm gonna watch them all again. I'm like I'm in the mood to rewatch these seasons because it's been so long since I've seen most of them. There are characters introduced in season 2 in particular that I really love. And one of them in particular is one of the new kids that they introduced in that season. She goes on to be a really fucking good character, like later on. Especially in season 4, she has some of the best fucking scenes in the entire series, like, in my opinion. So it's like it's worth sticking with because it's not like the show just falls off a cliff and like gets worse for a while. It's like there's still compelling stuff there, you know, for sure. So
Okay.
there's just some
Gotcha.
plot lines that are a little like, why are we doing this, you know, kind of thing. So, but yeah, so it's worth watching for sure. Okay.
All right. I'll give it a shot. That
Okay.
was a hell of an icebreaker.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Hi, everybody. You know, this is our video game podcast where we talk about TV shows. So let's get into the rigmarole, Montrell. I think we've broken the ice adequately to start the show. So, hi, everybody. This is the Player's Take, episode 177. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host. He's really reluctant to watch Stranger Things, Montrell Rice. Montrell, I didn't ask you how you're doing. How's life?
I can't complain. Besides a bullet coming through my ceiling, I'm all right.
Oh my god. Yeah, you told me about that. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, I didn't ask. The cats are fine, right? Nothing happened to them?
Oh yeah, nothing happened. They
Okay.
didn't even know what was going on. It happened so quick. Like nothing happened. Like to them, nothing happened.
Good,
So
good,
yeah, they're all right. They're always sleeping up front with me. So
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean that's the good part, right? They're not like hiding anywhere generally. They're probably just hanging out with you guys. So
yeah, so
that's good. Okay. Well, all right. So everybody, for those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And if you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter at The Players Take, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. All right, Montreal, we broke the ice. Let's get into the show proper and start with what we've been playing. Would you like me to go first, or you want to go this week?
yeah, you can go first.
Okay, yeah, I figure we have one game we're gonna talk about in depth. Everybody knows what it is. And I only have really one other game to talk about. Well, two technically, I guess. But so, Heroes Might and Magic 2. I was playing that last week, and I've still been playing it. I got to the final scenario of the good side campaign in Heroes Might and Magic 2, and hit a brick wall with it. The game suddenly got way harder, and I like the game has in the campaign there are choices you can make at certain points that affect this final scenario, and I seemingly made the wrong choice like 2 or 3 scenarios back, and I just kind of got really discouraged, and I really didn't feel like I wasn't having enough fun with the game for me to want to go back and replay a couple scenarios to make the right choice. And so I dropped it and I just went to Heroes Might and Magic 3, which, you know, I've gushed about this game before, but I'm playing through the campaign again, and I've already beaten 2 of the campaigns in the original game. They're very quick. The scenarios take maybe an hour each, and there's only 3 of them, so I haven't played that much. But you know, this game is just so fun. It's so easy for me to pick it up. What I will say though is it's funny to play through it again. The base game campaigns, at least the first 3, are hilariously easy, like to the point that like anybody could fucking beat them. Like I think they're intended as an introduction to the game and really to teach you how to play, but it's like they're not a proper tutorial though. There's no like menus or anything teaching you or pop-ups teaching you how to play or anything like that. The game just loads you in and you're just kind of expected to figure it out. But overall, I'm having fun with it. I'm really looking forward to the first expansion, Armageddon's Blade. The campaigns in that game are fucking amazing. They are like a huge step up from this base game. Like they have actual plot line in it where there is like legitimate character development and stuff happening with the campaign heroes. And it's like almost written like a novel basically. Because there's not very little voice acting in the game, but it is super good. So I'm looking forward to getting to that. But otherwise, I've only been playing Sunbreak. So, Montrell, do you want to talk about Apex real quick, or just go straight into Sunbreak?
I actually haven't even touched Apex in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
I just thought I put Apex on there because a lot of people are trying to boycott it next month. So I'm probably going to play it a little bit this month before I participate in the boycott and boycott the game because I do need to fix that fucking game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am going to play a little bit this month, but besides that, I am boycotting it for the whole month of August. And if you're listening and play Apex, you should too, because shit needs to get fixed. I love the game, but shit needs to get fixed.
Yeah. Well, the problem with doing it next month is a new season's about to drop. So next month, so we'll see how well it does. But
I mean, we're going to be distracted anyway. We got two games coming out next month.
I'm not playing
it,
dude. I'm good.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coming out. Yeah. I think another game coming out next month too. So I'm good.
I'm going to be playing Heroes of Might and Magic 3 for the next month plus as well. So I'm good. We got Magic the Gathering we're getting into. I don't need Apex right now. So pretty happy without it. So I guess Monster Hunter Montreal. Let's just jump into that, huh? Sunbreak, G rank, master rank, whatever you want to call it. How has your time with it been so far?
Mixed. I'm probably, and the only reason it's mixed is because this is pretty much the first game. No, it's the second game I'm doing solo G rank. I haven't did a solo G rank since the PSP.
4 for me.
4 for you? Okay. Yeah, I haven't did a solo since PSP. I didn't get far. I hated 3U. And I really didn't get too far in 4U for some reason. I just wasn't feeling 4U. 4U was good, don't get me wrong.
4U was my jam. That was the first Monster Hunter I really jived with. And I did do a lot of G rank solo in that game, but I didn't beat it. It was too much for sure.
Yeah. So I did beat GU, or I'm sorry, not G. Monster Hunter GU solo, because I had that PSP game, and that's like literally the only. It was so bad for me where I figured out, like, I was going on like the Monster Hunter forums, and I had this little dongle piece that you plug into your computer, and you can play ad hoc mode from your computer, essentially playing online, but it displays a signal that's like ad hoc mode, and you can join rooms and shit like that. So you on the program, you would click on it, and it'll take you into a lobby, and then that lobby will disperse the signal, and then you join that room, and then 4 other people will be in that room, and you can hunt with them like that. So that's how bad it was for me. I was a fucking degenerate. Like, I ordered the part. It took like this is before Amazon, y'all. So it took like 2 weeks to get it and shit like that. Because it was a really like this distinguished part, like you just needed to plug into your PC or whatever, a dongle. Anyway, so I say that to say, because unfortunately, as much as I want us to go back to like how we were doing World, I think we're all scatterbrained right now. I don't know why, but we are all scatterbrained right now as far as playing Rise. And maybe that will change.
I'm just not obsessed with it in the way I was with Iceborne. Like, and that's fine. I'm not complaining about that. Like that's okay. I'm just like I'm really having fun with Heroes of Might and Magic, and I am trying to play that. So Montreal, I gotta go get that package I mentioned before the show, so you can keep talking, and then I'll be back in like 2 seconds.
All right, gotcha. But yeah, so for me, I've been trying to do a lot of solo things and everything like that. So that's why I mentioned that GU, because this is the first game since GU that I've been playing solo. Every other game, I've been playing with people. I had a dedicated group to grind G rank with. But since I'm doing it by myself, it is kind of harder, and I do realize like a lot of the monsters and stuff like that are going to hit harder and everything like that. I just have to get good, I assume. But I feel like a lot of the monsters are designed around one certain mechanic, and that mechanic being either guard, or 2 mechanics rather. That mechanic either being guard points or counters. For some reason, or every weapon in the game, I believe, now has a counter or a guard point. There isn't not one weapon that doesn't have a guard per or a counter, and I think that's spillover from Monster Hunter Generations. Uh, is it Generations United or Generations 2 or something like that? Or the you know the non the real version of Monster Hunter Generations. I feel like it's a spillover from that game, because everyone used to use the Valor style in that game. So when in that team that made that game, made Rise as well. So I think a lot of spillovers from that, a lot of the same moves are from there and everything like that. Even you have like Courage Stance that's in the game from Hammer. But the reason I bring all that up is because I feel like every monster is designed around the guard point or the counter. That yeah, like every monster and every weapon I think confirmed has a guard point on counter now. I'm not sure about the hunting horn, but I know the lance, the gun lance for sure. None of the range weapons have a really they have infinite or not infinite, they have invincibility frame dodges, but they don't have guard points or counters.
Yeah.
I think the hunting not the hunting horn, but I think the heavy bow has some kind of weird guard counter. I think.
Okay.
But all the weapons, all the like melee weapons for sure, I know for 100% sure have a guard part encounter, and I feel like every encounter with every monster in G rank is designed around that mechanic.
Yeah.
And as much as I like those type of mechanics, it's like a get good mechanic. It's like Sekiro, you got to get good, you got to learn how to counter and everything like that.
When to counter, what to counter.
Yeah, exactly. That mechanic is it's still sort of kind of new to Monster Hunter, in the same sense that you should be able to handle each encounter differently.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have to rely on my guard points or my counters. I should be able to successfully dodge. Now I know other people may say, "Well, get good, get evade extender, boom, your problem solved."
That's not.
And you're right.
Though. That's not get good though. That's like a crutch. I've never needed evade extender in any Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I never needed it either.
Never.
It was a good thing to have, but it wasn't like, if I had an armor set that just so happened to have it, then cool.
I frankly hated it because when I eventually lost it, you like lose the spacing, that's correct for dodging. So it's like it throws you off, because I would never keep that in a build. So it's like, I didn't like that skill, and I don't think it should be. I don't think any skill should be a hard requirement for successfully beating the game. So.
I mean, and that's where the counters and the guard points come into play, right? Because that's not a skill that's built into your weapon, and you have to learn how to get good, because that's what I guess G rank is about. And I'm stuck in the middle between, should I hunt with other people or should I just fucking go solo? The problem is I want to farm, and then I want to solo, and then I want to try to get good that way, and then I want to start speed running the monsters. I always do this every Monster Hunter. Like I speed run the monsters by myself. So it's like I'm stuck at a crossroads right now, because I don't feel like I'm good enough to be solo, but also I don't want to be a crutch to when I'm going on teams and I'm dying and giving up and getting carded and shit like that. So I'm just at it. I think the game is good and it's difficult, and I think they padded enough stuff in the game to where it's like, maybe at the point of my life, I'm not doing the Iceborne thing that we did, and we were like going hard 6 hours every fucking night and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I think even then, even if we did do that, we would still be just barely beating the game right now. Like just barely beating the main main campaign.
It feels like there's a lot. There's still a lot to go.
Yeah. And I'm hearing there's like hitting monsters at different MR levels and stuff like that, or master rank levels. So it's a lot of stuff they didn't tell us. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff they didn't tell us. That's coming out and everything of that nature. So and then next month we're getting more monsters. So it's like I'm actually satisfied. The problem is, I think it's just more so of a personal thing where I'm stuck in this limbo stage where I'm like, should I do this or should I do that? And I kind of feel like I gotta learn a game all over again, because
Okay, you're hitting on a very interesting point here. I want to stick
Yeah,
on this for a little bit because this is an
yeah,
important philosophical design piece of Monster Hunter, right? Because I want to start with like the whole dodge roll counter thing. I remember I haven't played Monster Hunter that long. I'm not an OG fan like you are. Like I've only played Monster Hunter for maybe 10 years, you know.
yeah.
And to be frank, like 4U was the first one I really played. 3, like, dude, I got to high, I remember I played 3, I got to high rank and like a monster took off half my health and I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't like this game that much," you know? And I never finished it. So, and I mean, we all agree 3 sucks. Like it wasn't because the game was hard. It was because I remember fighting La Giacruz underwater and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this motherfucker's gonna one shot me, and I move like a fucking anchor underwater. Nah, bro. And this motherfucker's shooting around like a bullet. Nah, dude. Like this is like fighting Goku as like a regular person. Like I'm good. I'm not doing that. So that game, you know, like I don't know. So I really got into Monster Hunter hard, and like I think it was like 2014 when 4U came out, or maybe 2013. I don't remember exactly, but um, so like that game I remember was still the old style, old engine. You know, that same engine that they used to have forever up until
Yep.
Generations Ultimate, and the game felt great, even though it's clunky, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
I admit it's clunky, and I think the people right now that are saying the old games felt better than Rise, I think that is a reaction to what we're talking about. I think people subconsciously are expressing, maybe without even actively realizing it, their disdain for this counter thing. Where there
Mm.
are many moves that monsters do now that feel very unavoidable unless you counter them, and that is a new thing, dude. Even Iceborne didn't feel that way most of the time, you know. Even though that game was much faster and had more movement options and stuff like that, I still don't remember. I remember a dodge roll being sufficient for most attacks, you know, except
It
certain
was.
fucking elder dragons that were absolutely ridiculous, or fighting Barioth or Tigrex in master rank because
Yeah.
they were the size of a fucking building, you know, like, which made no goddamn sense in that game. I do not understand why the monsters were as large as they were, some of them. But that notwithstanding, though, dodge rolling was sufficient for a lot of stuff in those games. The thing is, in 4, I remember in 4 specifically, and this extends to GU as well a little bit, but not quite as hard, is that like I could dodge almost every attack straight up if I timed it right, you know? The attacks would
Mm.
have a small enough hitbox where they would hit the specific point your character was standing when the attack was initiated. You know, and if you got off that point, you would dodge, like you wouldn't get hit by it. Now it feels way more vague, and I have a hard time sometimes with certain monsters where they will turn in the middle of an attack, like change the direction they're attacking you in. They're not like they look like they're going in a straight line, but they will curve, you know, things like that will happen. I was fighting Zinogre yesterday for the first time in Master Rank, or second time, I guess. We did fight him once, but I don't remember him being this much of a pain in the ass. Dude, he was doing attacks that I hadn't even seen, and they were these massive AoEs that I couldn't do 2 dodge rolls to get out of, let alone 1. You know, it's like so like if you were in the middle of it when he initiated you, you're fucking done unless you counter it. You know, that's your only option, and it's like I do have a problem with this. It's starting to feel like a crutch because I realized that like base rise, I didn't use the dual blades counter at all. I never used it.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't necessary because the game was easy enough. I guess like you could power through most things. I didn't really care about getting hit as much in high rank. But in
Yeah.
G rank,
Yep.
it's becoming an absolute necessity because monsters take off half my health in one hit, you know? And that's fine. That's G rank. That's the way it's always been. But the problem is I don't feel like the game is giving me enough tools and realistic options to get out of things unless I just counter everything. And I started abusing it yesterday against Lunagoron. And besides one brief moment where I made some key mistakes and he fucking comboed me into a wall twice and stunned me and killed me, I fucking absolutely destroyed that monster, like using the counter. Dude, it was getting to the point where I was literally fucking waiting for him to attack and countering and then immediately wailing on him like with a full combo, dude, before his next attack. It's like it was that
Well,
powerful of a change, you know?
so
So
this is where um I agree with you on a lot of stuff.
yeah.
And this is where I feel like a lot of hate and this is, I don't think it's warranted.
Yeah.
But this is where a lot of hate comes from the longsword. The longsword uses the counter mechanic
Yeah.
very fucking efficiently, right?
Yeah.
I don't think guard points were bad. People like, for you, guard points for the charge blade overpowered. Like, if you knew how to use your guard points, Andy can attest to this. If you knew how to use your fucking guard points in 4U and in GU, you were like a fucking wrecking machine. Nothing can touch you because your guard points gave you invincibility points, or
Yeah.
they even absorb damage for you, or something crazy that
Yeah.
guard points do.
Yeah.
And that was like a very specific thing, though. You had to learn that. You had to earn that right. And the monsters weren't designed around guard points, but the game gave you that option for guard points. It's an actual mechanic in the game, right? But I feel like that was very specific to charge blades, and even the developers, when they designed the monsters, they just didn't design the monsters around the guard points. They're like, if people use this charge blade and they learn it, then yeah, it's going to be overpowered. But if they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
Now with longsword, I feel like a lot of people saying the Valor style and everything like that. In GU, that's where this all came from, and I would agree with that because every weapon in GU had the Valor style, and they had a counter. And a lot of attacks were avoidable because you had that. Either you will take mitigated damage, but you will dodge successfully through an attack, or whatever the case may be.
Dude, Bo had the
not
most
say that
ridiculous one where you just stand there and wait, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
you just dodge out of the way, and then the monster you're behind the monster. It's like,
yeah. And I feel like World kind of exacerbated the issue because now they buffed the fuck out of longsword in World. World had that counter, and it had the sway move where you can kind of reposition, and it's like a sort of a pseudo counter / guard point when you sway out of the way when you have your sword sheath. So you got rewarded for that when you did it right and correct. And then they exacerbated even more in fucking Rise, and then even Sunbreak, it got exacerbated even to the next fucking level. Like, there are like so many counters for fucking longsword, and I think now, I'm not saying that the longsword is solely responsible for what's happening in Rise, but I think the developers buffed everything around the longsword to make every other weapon viable. So they said, hey, let's give everything a fucking counter. And they did. They gave everything a fucking counter. And that's where I think the hate for longswords come from. Before, it was because, in multiplayer, everybody got tripped by the longsword user. Like, that was the thing. Like, oh, you're tripping me, or whatever. But now everything has a guard point or a longsword. Even the fucking the shield and sword has a guard point when you fucking do your upper your shuriken.
Dual Blades has one. Come on, dude. Come on. Like, what?
And I used to be very efficient with the dual blades and in World. I used to always use dual blades in certain situations. They were very good for me against Diablos monsters, Diablos type charging monsters. Because
they were yeah, absolutely. Tigrex,
yeah,
Zinogre, they were amazing against fast monsters. Like,
exactly.
You're matching speed with speed. Yeah,
exactly. So, but in this game, I haven't touched dual blades at all.
Dude, it's the opposite. Dude, like,
really?
I felt completely ineffective against Zinogre. That thing was fucking me up. Maybe it was just me, and I'm not used to playing solo recently anymore. But he was obliterating me. I was struggling a lot with him until I started countering. Like, the second I started countering, I was still not doing great, but I was holding though against him, and and I took him down and ended up killing him. But it's like, dude, it's just, it feels really obvious, like, because that was a monster that I used dual blades against regardless of what weapon I was maining in whatever game, pretty much. And it was my counter to him. The only monster I feel like dual blades still feels that way with is Tigrex. Like, I use dual blades and I use the speed style with them against Tigrex, and it works like a charm. I can kill that motherfucker so easy. It's like it's not as much as I complain about that monster, it's not hard when I'm playing that way with dual blades.
Like, I actually think they nerf his hitboxes, like, because there are certain points where I was just dodging right through his charge, and I'm like, oh, I didn't get hit by that because I thought his whole fucking aura, not even his body, his whole aura was a fucking hitbox during his charge. But it seemed like they fixed the hitboxes on that charge, so I feel like that was a big nerf to him because now I can just dodge. I know when to dodge successfully. The problem is, like, I was a hammer main since fucking um Monster Hunter 1 from the PS2.
Yeah.
And the hammer to me feels super ineffective. The guard they give you, it's not particularly like forgiving on the counter on the window, or not the guard point, but the counter they give you is not forgiving on the window. So you have to really be specific with it. So my thing is, what's the hammer user's main thing? Hunting horn and hammer users like, hey, I want to go for the fucking head. That's my area. Leave everything else alone. And people will judge you too as other users if you're not at the head. Like, hit the fucking head, bro. That's where we need you at. So it's like when I'm going for the head for certain monsters and I'm using it, I just don't have the windows for it. And I'm getting like one shot it, two shot it. It's like I don't know when to hit. And I want to be as effective as I can. And I'm watching speedrunners. Like, I haven't watched any, because it's funny, I haven't seen any speedrunners yet come out for Hammer and Sunbreak. But in the base Rise, like, it was pretty much easy to get through. But in Sunbreak, I feel like people are really struggling because we don't know. There's not a really good way for me to get in and do what I need to do besides do quick hits and run out.
Yeah.
But that would make the hunt, unless I'm hunting with people, that would make the hunt take hours. Like, it would literally take me like 30 minutes to kill a monster just doing the hit and run tactic. And I don't feel like,
well, that's what I was having to do solo with dual blades, and it was taking me about 30 minutes to kill things by myself. Like, I mean, part of it is I don't know some of the monsters' patterns. Also, the other part of it is like playing solo. Like you were saying, we haven't done that for a few games, so it's like I kind of need to relearn how to play around that again. But this game is really unforgiving, I think, to solo players, like, in a way.
So that was my second point too. This game is very, very, in my opinion, very racist against solo players, because bro, the health pool that you get, that these monsters have, it's fucking, even in base Rise we complain about this shit. It's fucking ridiculous. The hub monsters, and I don't, and I think this is my conspiracy. I think they recognize that the health pool was such a problem. That's why they gave you follow requests, so you can do solo missions.
Yeah,
like, because you need someone to help you. Like, you can't, unless you're like one of these Team Dark or Team 4-star or Team Cart people or Triple Cart people that are on YouTube or Eric's or whatever, and you just fucking play 1,000 hours of the game. Like, I don't feel like a normal person will be able to solo a lot of these monsters.
Perfect dodge, like, every attack. You know exactly where the frames are. Like,
you're not going to be able to solo these monsters under like 5 minutes, bro. Like, it's not happening.
I mean, part of it's gear. We're not fully leveled. I think that is definitely a piece we have to acknowledge. But I don't think it's going to help that much, at least at first. Yeah,
and it's like, but even when we were playing World, there would be certain points where I'm not online and you'll be playing, and then you're not online and I'll be playing, and I was soloing the monsters just fine. So it's just like, I don't know. It's something about this game. I don't know if it's the health pool or the obnoxious damage charts. And in the difficulty level. So when I say difficulty level, I mean like going from master rank 3-star and going to master rank 4-star is a huge fucking difference. Or 5-star now.
4 to 5. I'm really feeling that difficulty jump. Yeah,
man. These elder god dragons or whatever, these elder dragons like will one-shot you or two-shot you.
Yeah.
Just by running at you. Like when Teosha does that little charge that he gives no tail to, I fucking hate that move.
Yeah.
That took like half of my health. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? How am I supposed to counter that?
Well, I feel that with Rajang, dude. I fought Rajang yesterday and it took me 30 minutes and I beat him. I only got carded once, but it was, it was still, though, it was very touch and go for me at points where I'm like trying to get in there and hit him, and he just moves so much. He's so fast, and then he does that like frolicking, can't jump thing he does where he jumps side to side, and that takes off like fucking a third of your HP, and you're like, what the fuck, dude? I didn't even stagger. I don't even know what, like, how does that even hurt you? Like, it's like I don't know. Like, so some of the monsters are insane. Like, dude, they or at least they feel insane. I'm sure as our defense gets higher, it continues to, like, we max our characters out, like, this is gonna get way easier. But Right now, I do feel like the difficulty is out of whack because my gear, like, my gear is not that out of date. I have one item that's still like high rank level, but it's only 30 defense lower than anything else I'm wearing right now, and that's one item. And I've maxed out every other item, and they're all around 120 or higher, I think, on defense. So I'm like, is 30 defense gonna make that big of a difference that it's really
No,
going to like make this feel less insane to me? I just don't
well,
feel like that's the case.
well, I'll do you better. I have two sets that are, I guess, M2 or M3 monsters.
Yeah,
Um, the Anjanath is either M2 or M3. I can't remember which one it
I
is.
think it's
Just the
M2.
M2.
Yeah,
Two. I have full Anjanath gear, all the way spec'd out, upgraded, and it's already obsolete by Master Rank 5. You
yeah,
have to get one of the Master Rank 3 or 4
yep,
monsters.
yeah.
And I've never really experienced that in a Monster Hunter game. Like, usually, if you get like one Master or one G rank gear, like you usually get like for free to unite, if you get the cut
Mm.
coot gear or whatever,
Well,
that can
usually
kind of
they
last you.
obsolete high rank gear immediately, where it's like
Yeah.
fucking jaggy, jaggy armor is like better than your Valstrax armor from high rank,
Yeah.
like immediately. Like it's got like 50 more defense. Like usually that's what they do. They didn't do that this time though. The curve was like linear. Like for
Yeah.
MR a 1 star, like there was no armor even remotely close to better than what I was using, from high rank. So it is a little weird in that way. But yeah, you're right though. It's like the linearity though kind of scales really fast. It's almost like because yeah, the Anjanath stuff is like 2 star, and it dude, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Like it doesn't have enough defense. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that for sure, and that might be my problem. Is I am wearing a couple pieces from monsters that are lower tier in master rank, and that maybe is my issue. Is maybe I need to upgrade all 3 of those, and then that'll get my defense to a point that's like high enough where I can at least take some hits from these monsters, maybe 2 or 3 rather than 1 or 2. But so I don't know. I mean, there's a certain segment of the Monster Hunter community that would probably tell us to just shut up and get good. But um I don't know. These are things. I mean, I played this series for so long now, and so have you, and I played these games
It's just
really
really jarring, this
deeply.
game.
It feels jarring because they went from base Rise being way too easy to G rank, like upping this ante to such a degree that it's like almost too much.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they've turned some people off with this.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to lose some fans for sure, or they're definitely going to be YouTube videos. I mean, there are videos saying like, oh, Sunbreak is fixed and everything like that, or Sunbreak fixed Rise. In a lot of aspects, it did fix Rise. There's enough content there for me to do a lot of shit. They give you a lot of options, a lot of even out of mission options. They give you a lot of shit to
Mm-hmm.
do
Mm-hmm.
when you're
Yep.
out of mission. I think Rise is like world kind of not world started that, but they kind of continued that trend from like when you're out of missions, like take care of everything else, and I actually like that aspect of the game.
Yeah.
It's very like relaxing.
Yeah. I
um
like the break.
yeah. But I wouldn't, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people got turned off. They're like, yeah, World 2 coming out. I don't know, man. I just didn't like Rise. And I think that would be totally viable because
Mm-hmm.
Rise is so different from even from like the older games. It's like this weird mix of the old style with the new style. And this night, I'm just not feeling it. Like I thought that's what I wanted, but now that I got it, I don't want it anymore. Just go back to world style. Like
Yeah.
don't even look in the
Yeah.
past anymore.
Well, okay. Let's talk about positives because I know we're talking a lot of negatives about mechanics and stuff like that. You know what's funny about
Yeah,
this
yeah.
though is that it's a coin, right? We're on the bad side right now. We're on heads. Let's flip it over to tails for me with gameplay with dual blades specifically, because I've been playing dual blades in almost every Monster Hunter since I started. It's always been my weapon, and besides the whole counter thing, the weapon dual blades feels better than it almost literally ever has for me. Um, I don't think it's as smooth as World's gameplay was. I don't think they're gonna get that with a game that was made for Switch. But the pure options that I have in terms of combos and moves and special attacks and stuff like that. I mean, maybe this is what GU felt like. I didn't play Dual Blades in GU. That was the one game where I didn't play that at all in that game. But dude, it's like there's two different styles. There's speed style and then there's the aerial style. And they feel distinctly different, very different. They both have different combo strings and things like that. But there are actual combo strings a little bit now. They added a thing called the sideways slash that you can string at the end of any combo, where when you finish a combo, your character will dodge sideways around a monster if you do the directional correctly, and he will attack the monster 2 or 3 times as you're dodging. And they do this attack does big damage, by the way. This is like for single hits on dual blades, it's some of the highest damage you can do. If you do it right, though, you can continuously string a combo together forever, like you not stop and keep hitting the monster. And it is really effective in the right situations, and I'm really fucking enjoying that. For sure. They also made the Demon Flurry, the Flurry Rush and stuff from the speed style much better. And the Demon Flurry, like the normal just standing one in Archdemon mode, when you're standing still, they made those attacks way better. They do enough damage now where they are viable to use in certain situations, whereas in Base Rise they were fucking useless. It was aerial style or bust all the time, straight up. That's all you did. So I'm glad they fixed a lot of that. They've made the weapon way more fun to play for me. It's the most fun I've had with dual blades as far back as I can remember. Like I am mixing these styles together. I'm doing my scroll swaps and the skill swaps in the middle of combat and shit. Like it's fucking badass, man. So I'm very happy with where the weapons are right now. At least dual blades. I have not played Sword and Shield, but Sword and Shield was so deep in Base Rise already. The idea that they made it deeper in Sunbreak kind of makes my brain spin. So I'm looking forward to playing that weapon too, but it's so complex. The combo strings get so fucking deep in Sword and Shield that I'm like intimidated by it at this point, because there's like you could literally you start your combo the same way every time, right? And there's like 5 different trees of direction you can take your combo with Sword and Shield. Like Sword and Shield is insane.
It's not that deep, bro.
It is,
really
dude. It fucking is, man. It fucking is. I mean,
bro.
The thing is, I know there's one that's like probably optimal that you should probably always be doing, but I've just never like done it practically in hunts very well, and I need to play it more, So, but the thing is, the combo strings in Sword and Shield are just way deeper than Dual Blades generally has been, and Dual Blades is like closer now, which is nice. It's not like that much deeper, but it's enough that it's like fun, for me. So I'm really enjoying that. But
yeah, no, I agree. I feel like a lot of the weapons are just really good. Like as much as I bitch about Hammer like not getting close, and they do give you options to get close, and they give you the dash breaker, they give you one wire dash that you use and you can continue to hold your charge. So the mechanics are there for me to designed for me to continue to fight the monster while I'm in the monster's face and give me defensive options while mainly offensive presence.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate that. They buffed a lot of stuff that I had because especially with the hammer, everything revolved around the impact crater with hammer, and now that is like voided. Like I don't need the impact crater anymore. It's still a viable mechanic to use or viable attack, but I don't need it anymore because there's so many other elements to the game or to the hammer. Specifically, there's one buff where it gives you called impact press that came from GU or Generations United. And earlier when I was saying side note, when I was saying GU, I meant FU.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. So I meant Freedom United, not GU. So I apologize about that. But from actual GU, they gave you impact press, and I like impact press on the hammer now. I feel like elemental hammers are now viable again. Status hammers are now viable again. Or status effect hammers rather are viable again. So I have different options to go with now.
Yeah.
Before it was just raw hammer or nothing. And Sword and Shield is super fun in this game. I always liked Sword and Shield. I hated Sword and Shield in World. In other games, the only game I really liked Sword and Shield was GU. And that's because Sword and Shield is one of those things that really works with weapon arts or hunter arts or whatever, and they had some of the best hunter arts. And even in this game, to me, they have some of the best wire arts in this game. Or silk binds, yeah, they have some of the best silk binds in the game, and it's just really fun to use as a really versatile weapon. You can guard, you can be on the offensive as well. I think they did that. I think they did that really well. Did it justice. One thing they did nerf is the sword, or the long sword rather, and I feel like the nerf was warranted because it was a little bit much. But I feel like the nerfs the buffs that they gave it make up for the nerfs. Particularly the Sacred Chief. That's really good. Not only that, they buffed the other this is other silk bind attack that people were using, not the one where people jump up on them and slash down, but it was another one where you slash past them. That was buffed, and it's now viable again. So they made different styles viable, and you can play to your different strengths or whatever. Also, the lance is like really fucking good now. I haven't used it, but I've seen other people use it.
No longer a meme.
Just like, yeah, it's no longer a meme now. It's really fucking good. Like if you're looking for like a really like I want to stand off with the monster and not fucking move and be a tank, like the lance is the way to go. Because I see people who just use the lance and they don't fucking move. They don't move at all. It's actually really good. So I think a lot of weapons now are viable because before, and they're a lot more maneuverable because the longsword people can charge while they're running and everything like that, and they can kind of like store the charge after they do it and run towards the monster for a short period of time. So I feel like a lot of the weapons are necessary buffs. I will give the development team credit for actually listening to the community on this stuff because a lot of people like they just have a hard on for longsword. But they actually buffed a lot of other weapons to compete with the longsword, and I like that. And I hope they continue that trend in the next game. Like just give us more options. I wouldn't say give us more options to move around or a counter, but give us more options to move around. I actually like that, and that's what I liked about World. Though, as much as we bitched about the clutch claw, it was you had so many different attacks tied to that clutch claw. Well, you didn't because you're dual blades, but I did as a hammer user. I had a lot of attacks attached to that.
It was stab in the face, stab in the face, stab in the face. Okay, run him into a wall. Then demon flurry, demon flurry, demon flurry, demon flurry, demon. Okay, get up and run away. Dodge, dodge, dodge. Yeah, that was dual blades.
Yeah, and I feel like now there needs to be some kind of clutch claw or wire bug mechanic in Monster Hunter going forward. I can't just be tied to the ground anymore. Like I have to be in the air or something.
I think that's their plan. I don't think they're gonna get rid of it. They'll just change it up the way they did with the clutch claw to the wire bug. I think the wire bug is very successful. I feel really mobile with it. It's super fun to use. I love how mobile the hunters are. I think the problem is the fact the counter thing. The mobility your hunter has is not enough a lot of the time against a lot of monsters. You can't move fast enough to get out of some of these things. And the good old Superman dive, that's still there, but that thing is not as effective as it used to be because there are some attacks that last long enough where the Superman dive, you will get up and you will get hit and you dead.
Yep.
So,
and I will give them credit too for that. I think the difficulty has definitely been up. I think the monster designs have definitely been old style.
Can we talk about monster designs?
No, we didn't talk about it.
Yeah. So how do you like the new monsters so far that you've run into? I think there's 5, right? Malzeno, Espinas, Lunagaron. Oh my god, I'm fucking like blanking really hard right now on them. There's like 1 or 2 more.
Yeah,
I'm totally forgetting.
Yeah, so I think even with the variants that I fought, like the Pyre spider monster and the magma Aldravon, I actually like it. I think this is a really diverse game as far as that. I think they need more insect monsters. I would like to see the Celtis Queen come back, and everything like that. But
yeah,
I actually like the diverse cast they have so far.
The Garangolm.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually
That
like that
one.
monster too.
Yeah.
I thought it was like that monster's actually pretty tough solo because there's a lot of wide attacks.
Yeah.
But I actually like the direction they're going with the monsters all in general. I feel like in GU, I have each encounter, except for with exception with the Rathian and the Harmatar. I feel like all of them are like newer experiences. Like they all feel like a new monster from their higher rank variants or whatever
Yeah,
the
like
case may be.
the new Bishaten, the blood orange one. That's
Yep.
a fun fight. I like the Aurora Somnicanth fight. I think that's a way more interesting monster than the original Somnicanth.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Seregios, this version of Seregios is fucking insane.
Yes.
It's dude, that one. You want to talk about the counter problem? That is a monster. Jesus Christ, dude, the movement on that thing is just nutty. Um, I find Gormagala, I think, is actually pretty easy overall. Which he always
He just
kind
hits
of,
like a fucking truck.
he always kind of was easy, but I think they've brought him over faithfully. Lunagron, I think, is a pretty easy monster to fight overall, but so there's two monsters I want to call out in particular: Lunagron and Malzeno. I fucking love the designs of both of these monsters because Lunagron is literally a fucking werewolf. The thing stands up and like transforms basically into a werewolf in the middle of the fight and like starts fighting on its hind legs instead of all fours. And the thing like has these giant ice claws that it fucking swipes at you with. It's so badass. And then the Malzeno is literally a fucking vampire dragon. Like it is so cool. I love it when it drapes itself in its wings and it's like it looks like a fucking vampire and then it like teleports and like fucking uses its tail. That shit is so cool looking, dude. The animations on those two monsters in particular, I think, are like top fucking notch. It's some of the best shit I've ever seen in Monster Hunter. Like they're two of my favorite monsters. Period.
Yeah, no. I feel like the Lunagaron is one of my favorite new monsters so
Mhm.
far. I still have love for the Nargacuga, but that Lunagaron, his design, it reminds me. I don't know if you ever really read or watched the manga Berserk, but he
Mhm.
reminds me of Guts' armor when he goes like pretty much demon mode. He gets
Oh yeah.
his armor that
Mhm.
he shines or whatever. And it looks exactly like that armor. The way the monster is designed, and I like that monster a lot, and I do like the whole vampire wolf werewolf dynamic they
Yeah.
got theme
Yeah.
going on
It's cool.
in the story right now.
Mhm.
I actually like the Citadel
Yep.
area. I
Me
know
too.
the corridors are like a little bit small for some of the monsters, but I actually still like the area a lot. I think that's a really cool area to fight in. I like the jungle. I like the jungle for nostalgia reasons though, because it's pretty much the same jungle that's from Freedom Unite, and they kind of
Yeah.
like open it up or whatever. Um, I actually like the variety of little monsters. I did notice one thing that I did like, but I don't like, but I did like it. So I was like, this is why I hate the little monsters. They changed the AI to little monsters. I don't know if you noticed, but they attack you more now instead of the big monster.
Yeah.
The bullfangos are a real pain in my ass.
They were
Man,
always a
they're
pain in your ass, dude.
yeah, I
They've
fucking hate the
always been a pain in
bullfango.
the ass. They'll just literally toss you in the middle of a fight, like off screen. They just charge at you, and you're like, motherfucker.
So I feel like that's back now. I actually like kind of like that, and I think that's what makes the game a little bit more difficult. So as much as I'm bitching about the difficulty, I'm actually glad that the difficulty is kind of back in the game.
Mhm.
World did have that nice lit like layer of difficulty where it was like just right, or Iceborne rather, not base world.
Yeah.
Whereas this game is just straight up like this is the GU. This is like old style GU. Like you will get one shotted. You if you don't know what you're doing, no matter what your armor is, you're gonna get fucking one shotted. And
Mhm.
I guess I kind of appreciate that. And it's just like, oh, I need to get good again. Like I do. And a lot of the vets are like praising this, but it's like at the same time, I'm like, hey, like give me just back a little bit. But like continuing to praise the game. I do like the drop rate, even though I was having a little bit of an issue the other day. Each mission they give you a shiny if that's your first time fighting a monster. You're gonna get a shiny off that monster. And then it's not as hard, it's not as the game is not as grindy as other games, but
Mhm.
it makes you want to grind more. Uh I do like the weapon design as well. They have definitely upped the ante on the
Mm.
weapon design.
Mhm. Dude,
I'm not too.
the dual blades, the new dual blades are fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, and like they like claws and shit like that.
Yeah,
That's
well,
dope as fuck.
dude,
Yeah,
Ludogorun's fucking weapon. Oh my god. Oh, it's so good. Oh,
yeah, and yeah, the hammers and the shield and swords they just have really beautiful designs as well. Um, I don't know. The game has a lot of it's like 50-50 for me. Like I'm like really it has a lot of positives and it has a lot of negatives for me. I think the negatives right now for me is because I just need to kind of get a little bit better at the game. So that may change in the future. Um
yeah. Maybe we need to
um
stop playing solo. That might be the problem. Maybe we just don't like solo Monster Hunter anymore, dude. Like that
I
might be
mean
it.
we both said when we first discovered each other, like
Hmm.
we had no choice but to play. If we could play with someone, we would.
Yeah,
And now that we have that person, like me and you, like we can, and Andy,
yeah,
like we can do that now.
yeah,
But before we were like forced to play solo. So
yeah. I'm probably worse at Monster Hunter than I was back before I met you. Um, I was probably way better at the game. Yeah, that's what I noticed, man. It's like doing the hunt solo. I was like, oh my god, dude, this is so much more annoying because like the monster's just on you constantly. Like
yeah.
it's like you think your palicos are like gonna be there to distract, but dude, they barely take its attention most of the time. Like I don't know. It's just yeah, it's definitely different. You have to like I can't even finish combos sometimes as dual blades. Like I don't even have big enough windows to do that a lot of the time. So
Well, that's
um
another positive too. And I guess a negative for like Palamute fucking fanboys, but Palicos, man, overpowered, bro. Whew.
yeah, they
Hey,
went way crazy with the shit they can do.
I actually like it. Sometimes
Yeah.
it feels like there is another hunter next to me
Hmm.
because both of them combined. When I take
Bro,
both my
they knock
Palicos
the
with me,
monster down more than we do. Like as
exactly.
human players, it's fucking nuts, dude. Like that lottery box thing when they get the kitty nader or whatever, or the
I hope they never nerf that. I hope people do not complain about that.
bro, it's nuts, dude. If they hit that thing with the monster, instant down. You know, like the monster's
Yep.
on the ground rolling
No
around.
matter
Like
where they touch the monster,
yeah,
too. By the way,
yeah,
it's instant down.
it's nuts. It's super good. Yeah, even some of
Yeah.
the other abilities though are good too. The one Andy has, the fireworks one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That bomb when it fucking hits, holy shit, dude. That thing.
his little suicide palico, man.
Yeah,
That shit's
he's like running
hilarious,
at him with a
man.
barrel and shit. It's so funny, man. Yeah, palicos are
Yeah,
great, dude.
yeah. I like the palicos. I like the also like I said, the side stuff that you can do, like the Meowcenaries,
Hmm.
the Argosy, and everything like that.
Well,
Everything.
the
If
lottery got enhanced too in the shop, which
yeah,
I just found out yesterday. I like the Argosy changes where you can get other items outside of the one you ordered
yep,
for the
I do too.
trades, which is awesome. The amount of money they're giving you in that is really awesome without doing
Yep.
anything. Like you're just getting it for free. Like, dude, I probably have 500,000 zenny of items in my box that I haven't sold from the Argosy trading. Like, just in the
Yeah,
short
yeah,
time we
same.
played. So, I really
And
appreciate that for sure.
yeah, and they definitely made getting extra palicos because in the older games I used to just get like maybe 4 palicos and then like, oh, okay, whatever, fuck it, I don't
Hmm.
care about the. I mean, I used the garden, but I mainly used the garden. What was that? That was 3 where you had like a garden you can use palicos for, I believe, and
Hmm.
they can farm different stuff and everything like that. Um, and then in World, the Palicos are just like nerfed. Like as far as outside the missions, they really didn't add anything of
I don't think they
value
did
to you.
anything. All the stuff was outside of Palicos, I think, for the most
Yeah,
part.
yeah. So they really nerfed them, and then in Rise they buffed them, and then in Sunbreak they buffed them even more to where even the buddy recons, I use that shit constantly
Oh
now.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah. New
yeah.
fast
So
travel points. Yep.
yep. It's worth having like at least 30 palicos on hand or 30 buddies on hand. It's worth it
Yep.
because you can make them do so many different things. And you can train them, and then if you want to swap out your palicos and things of that nature, you can do that.
Hmm.
And it's actually really good to swap out your palicos and get them leveled up because you can put their skills on your main palico.
Yep.
So they just made palicos. I hope they continue this trend. That is one thing that Rise in the older games and this team does very well. they always look out for like the palicos and the side buddies and the side things because they know people want to do stuff outside of the hunts, and I think they really do a really good job at that. Even in the older games, like in Generations United, you can hunt as a palico if you wanted
Yeah.
to. Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And you were like fucking overpowered too, by the way. By the way, so
Well, yeah, I want to see them do more outside of hunts, even more in future games. Where I'm thinking like, dude, like start introducing some like fucking mini games and stuff. Like kind of Gwent style things. Like something
yeah,
like that, or like maybe like a fucking Palico racing mini game or something, or Palamute racing mini game. Things like stuff like that. Like I think the community would respond super fucking positively to stuff like that. Because the hunting is great. It's always been great. That's the core of the game. That's what the game is, right? But I think, like we were saying, having a break between hunts, something to do, maybe something that gives you rewards that's like really fun and mindless, would be really cool, to have, some kind of weird like match 3 game or something, you put in there where the palicos drop like fucking fruits or something. I don't know. Just something like that, So I think that'd be kind of
yeah.
cool. And it'd be cool if you could do some of this stuff with other people that are in your room with you, that would be cool too. We're all just like finished like a really hard hunt and we're like, oh, you guys want to do a Palico race real quick or something, I think that would be cool too. So I'd like to see that a little bit more in the future. But yeah, I think the game overall, like Sunbreak, I'm very positive on it. I don't think it's as big in terms of content as most Monster Hunters before it with G rank, but I'm actually okay with it. It's enough content now that between the base game and this one, that it's keeping me occupied, and I'm not like, dude, we were done with base Rise so fast that I just like I lost interest in playing it really quickly, and I don't think that's going to happen here, because by the time we get to that point, they're going to drop like 5, 6, 7 more monsters in August. So,
Well, another thing to consider too is like just piggybacking off of that point. Even if you guys aren't playing, there's incentive to me to come back and just play Rise now.
mhm.
Like I could just play it whenever the fuck I wanted to because it's like probably shit I haven't finished or shit that got
Well,
unlocked
G
or
rank's
whatever the
not
case may be.
going away. They're not going to introduce something else. This is the problem with high rank. I fucking hate high rank
Yep.
because all their like post launch DLC, I'm just like, I don't care because like you're gonna nullify it when G rank comes out. So
Exactly.
it's
Yep.
not like now. It's like, yeah, dude, we could play it for a month. We might not even get to the August update, and then we come back in December, and there's 3 title updates that all added 5 monsters each, and we're like, holy fucking shit, this game's got a ton of content now. It's like so. I think I'm more okay with their approach now. I think they still need to step their game up for the next base game, whatever that is, because it was unacceptable the state the game originally launched in. So I still hold that opinion. To be honest, though, whenever they announce World 2 or whatever the next Monster Hunter is, I mean, but you and I both said this. I'm very tempted to not even get it, like straight up. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna wait for G rank.
I'm just gonna wait to G rank, and I think I might just continue to play this until like the G rank version of whatever the next world is.
Yeah.
I think that's one trend they actually need to kill. I think what they can do still, they can release the base game with the base monsters and have a G rank version of that, and then just release the new monsters in G rank. Like, just do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Well, think
understand why
about this, right? This game came out, like Sunbreak came out a year and 4 months after the original launch, so 16 months after the original
Yeah.
game launch. If they had just delayed the game for that long, like I'm sure they would have made less money. That's probably the main issue. But dude, like this game would have come out, and think about Base Rise plus Sunbreak, we would have been playing this game for weeks, like straight up months
Yep.
probably, with that much content. So I'm just like, I don't know. I wish they changed their approach a little with the release schedule of it, but I doubt they will. So it works for them.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk to right now?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have. I mean, we're gonna keep playing this, so we'll have more to say next week, I'm sure. So, all right, Montrell. Well, let's get into the news. We don't have a lot of news this week, but we do have a couple big stories to talk about. So the first one is Rockstar. Kotaku wrote an article yesterday talking about, or actually Tuesday, talking about Rockstar, and there from sources they have, and there was actually a tweet about this before they wrote the article, but they confirmed it through sources they have as well, that Rockstar is dropping basically almost develop on almost anything that isn't probably GTA 5, and they are working exclusively on GTA 6 on making that game and getting it released. Obviously, we're still years away from it with this information, but what that means is they're not going to be working on Red Dead Online anymore, which they actually like literally announced that today, that they're going to ramp down their production on stuff for that game, and they were thinking about doing a GTA 4 or Red Dead Redemption original remake, and they're shelving both of those now, and they're not going to do either one right now. They're focusing exclusively on GTA 6. So, Montrell, do you think this is a good idea? I don't know how big of a fan you are of their games. I don't really think either of us really care that much about Rockstar stuff, but how big of a deal is this to you, and do you care? Are you excited about GTA 6?
No. I did like GTA 5 a lot.
Yeah.
As far as like the story and everything, I like what they did with the story. I thought the story was really cool. I thought the main campaign was like really good. One game that I regret not playing is Red Dead Redemption 2. Because from what I hear, that game's just
I mean,
like,
why
even the
regret?
online,
You can still play it, man.
that's true. I still can. I just don't have the time.
I know.
I don't
It's
feel
like a
going back.
150-hour game. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
I'm
So
looking at it right now.
So that is one game I do regret not playing and not never playing. One game thing I don't regret not playing is GTA Online. I don't regret not playing that shit. It sounds like just a big troll. I don't want to play the shit. I don't want to be a fucking going. It seems like each server is a troll server unless you're playing one of the role playing servers. And I'm not a big role player, so I mean, I guess, but I am glad this is for GTA fans though. I'm sure they're ecstatic. Like, this is good ass news because each GTA fan I know, like I know DJ's happy about this shit. Because yeah, I'm tired. And I know my other friend Aaron, he's like really probably excited about this shit because a lot of people are just tired of old shit. We're tired like games running off nostalgia and stuff like that. No one asked for a GTA remake a 4 remake. Like no one asked for that shit, right?
Right.
If anything, people wanted San Andreas to be completely remade. Like that's the big one everybody wants.
Or Vice City.
Even me. Or Vice City. Yeah, that one. I would actually buy that because I like Vice City.
Yeah.
As much
as
why?
Why 4 though? Yeah, 4 is random. Like 4 was really highly regarded, but dude, like in terms of, I feel like in terms of history though, like it's not remembered as fondly as it was rated when it first came out. You know?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know because everybody like they like Gay Tony more than they like Nico. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. And what was the other game they were making? Or
Red Dead Redemption, the original one. That would be cool. But that is similarly like a Last of Us situation. So I don't know how appealing that would be to people. I mean, then again, so is GTA 4, I guess technically, but
I can see a discussion for Red Dead Redemption because if you don't have an Xbox, there's no way for you to play the game. Or a PC, I think. I don't think it's on PC. Or is it on PC?
I'll check.
But if you have a PlayStation, there's no way for you to play the game. You can't play Red Dead Redemption. You need Xbox backwards compatibility to play Red Dead Redemption.
Wait, was that really an Xbox exclusive?
I don't think it was an Xbox exclusive. Was it?
Dude, it's not on PC. It's not on Steam.
Red Dead
Redemption.
What about PS3?
No, I don't think. Did Red Dead come out on PS? Dude, it might have. Let me look.
That's weird.
No, yeah, it was PlayStation 3. Okay, no, it wasn't an exclusive.
All
yeah,
right.
So it was PS3, Xbox 360. It never came to PC.
All right. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. So I know for right now, there's no way for you to play it unless you. I think it may be on PlayStation Plus.
It's probably on. Yeah, it's probably in the PS Plus highest tier with the PS3 streaming. I would bet.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know that for a fact. So
yeah. But so that I think that game would kind of benefit from a full blown remake or just a remaster. but it'll be hard to do a remaster when you have Red Dead Redemption 1 or 2. So I would just do a remake if I were them as well. But I'm glad they're pulling everybody off that to just make GTA 6. Someone has to be like, listen, we're reading articles, bro. Like, no one's gonna buy this stuff. just make, because the people were pretty upset with that trilogy they came out with, that remaster trilogy they came out with. People like, yo, just make GTA 6. Which is funny because now a whole generation has grown up on GTA 5. GTA 5 has been out for 9 years.
Yup.
I think it first.
Yeah, it was a PS3 game, dude.
It was, and I had it on the PS3. I didn't buy the PS4 version. I had it on the
GTA
PS3.
5 was so big that they released it 2 months before the PS4 came out, and it's one of the biggest games to ever, like, biggest sellers ever in video games. Period. And they didn't re-release it on PS4, I don't think, for several months. Like,
I think it was a whole year, actually.
It might have even been a whole year. Yeah, it literally might have even been a whole year. Like, and the game didn't have any problems. Like, that is bonkers. I can't believe that, because the jump from PS3 to PS4 was significant. You know.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's a testament to what they built with GTA 5. So.
Yeah, and GTA Online was released a couple of months after the 2013 version. So GTA Online has been out for 9 years, and it'll be 10 years next year. So there's a whole generation of kids that grew up on GTA 5 and nothing but GTA 5. Yep. That's all they knew.
Yeah.
Like, if you started playing GTA, like, when you're cognitive, like, of playing video games, probably like 8 or 9, you probably should.
Yeah, if you were born GTA in like 2005, oh my god, Montrell, oh my god, oh god, why? When I say those words, it just hurts. Yeah, like 2004, you're 18 right now. Oh my god. You fucking yeah, you were 8 at the time, or 9 when GTA 5 came out, and you know, it's probably not the appropriate age to be playing GTA, but you know, kids do it anyways. And yeah, I could see that, where like there's so many kids probably that grew up on that fucking game, man. So yeah.
Yeah, man. So I saw a meme like that, and I'm like, that meme it's not a meme, it's actually fucking true. Like, kids grew up on GTA 5. They didn't know about GTA 4 or 3 or, you know, whatever. San Andreas or Vice City. They all they know is GTA 5, and that's it. So yeah, it's been a long time coming, and 9 years is a long time for a sequel. But don't rush it, because you saw what happened to Cyberpunk. So yeah,
agreed. No, dude, this game, I think we could see this game 2 months before the PS6 comes out. You know, that's how long I think they're gonna take.
Right.
You know, so yeah, no, I don't expect this game anytime soon. Like, if it comes out in the next 3 years, within the next 3 years, I will be insanely surprised. Like, very much so. So yeah, I don't particularly care for it. Our talk about Red Dead Redemption 2, though, I'm looking at that box right now. I'm like, man, I wish, like, Xenoblade inconvenient timing, because I would totally. I want to play something like that, but Xenoblade is going to fill that urge.
Well, there's a lot of good games come out in the next couple of months. So there really isn't going to be any dead time. If there was dead time, that was 2 or 3 months. That was like a month ago. That was our
we missed it. It was May, June. Yeah, we're through it now. It's over.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on to a game I care about a lot more than GTA 6. So it finally happened after teases and leaks and fake outs and all this bullshit, where Cory Barlog's making these speeches on Twitter about how we should all love each other. Why are you so upset about a release date not being announced? Jesus Christ, stop attacking people, which he's right about 100%. But after all this, finally, Sony and Santa Monica fucking announced God of War Ragnarok release date. It is coming on November 9th, 2022, this year. 4 months from now, basically almost 4 months from the moment we're recording this. It's real. There was a new trailer. It was 30 seconds. It didn't really show much except for this giant wolf that looks really fucking cool. Montrell, first question. Do you believe this game will actually come out on November 9th? And second question, how Are you excited about this, or are you more tepid on it?
I'm more tepid on it. First, I don't know if it's going to get pushed back or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I answer both questions with the one answer. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited for it, but I'm tepid, and I think I don't know if it's going to get pushed back or not. So I'm kind of holding my expectation.
Mm.
Another reason why I'm excited, but like really like me seem like I'm blasé about it because I know the game's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know, I just know that there. I think there was only one bad God of War game, and that was Ascension. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like every other God of War game was good. So
Mm-hmm.
I know it's going to be good. I know the story's going to be good. Um, this franchise actually just doesn't miss, except for with Ascension. And then
Mm-hmm.
even then, people can kind of counter me with that one. Like, well, Ascension was actually kind of good, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, uh, even the PSP game or PS Vita game was it the Ghost of Sparta.
Yeah. There were two of
That
them:
was
Ghost
pretty.
of Sparta, and then there was another one. I forget the
Okay,
other
I
guy's
didn't play
name.
the second one. Then I
Yeah.
played Ghost of Sparta, but I didn't play the second one. Those are pretty good. So, uh, I don't know. I think the franchise is a really good franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for it. I think it's coming out though. The only reason I think it's coming out, I don't want to jump all the way ahead. Um, but Forspoken got delayed, so and I
Yeah,
think
that
they had like a
happened
deal.
conveniently quickly after this was announced. By the way,
Yep. And I
which
think
was funny.
in their wording was very funny. They said with our partners. So I think they have an exclusive deal with Sony,
Mm-hmm.
and Sony probably worked out something with them where they're like, all right, this game's coming out. Let's just delay it. And they delayed it. And I think another game, I think they should push the game forward instead of delaying it because they delayed it next to another game coming out around that time as well.
Well, they don't
Uh,
want to push it forward because remember, The Last of Us remake is coming out in September, early
oh,
September.
that's
So
right. That's
they
right.
can't push it far forward really very much at all. Um,
Okay.
they definitely do not want to put these two games too close to each other because they're very similar in terms of what they're trying to do. Even though God of War has, generally speaking, better gameplay. I think their third person narrative action games, one's a shooter and the other's an pure action game, but still it's not that different, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm more like, I don't know if this game's actually going to make the November 9th 2022 date. I think they're going to do I think they're I'd say I'm like 90% sure they're going to, because I don't think they want to delay this game into next year at all, because this game will be absolutely surrounded by so much other shit that it will get drowned. Even though it's God of War, I don't think it could ever truly get drowned out. Like, it is a big franchise for Sony. I think they wanted it on as much of an island as they can possibly get it. And yeah, putting it near like Call of Duty maybe is questionable, but I think God of War is distinct enough and big enough to survive that, that time frame. And I think Call of Duty's coming out in October anyway, so it's not that close. So I think that this date is good for them, but I still think there's a chance they're gonna miss it. This game seems like it's definitely had some issues in development, and it's got a different director who's kind of a rookie director. And that, while this guy could be fully competent at his job, I mean, anybody doing something new that they've never done before, you're gonna run into some roadblocks, right? So the game itself, I'm with you. I didn't watch this trailer. I don't care about it. I don't want to watch it. I'm at the point where I'm going into blackout mode on this game. But the the game itself, though, I don't know. I'm sitting here right now, and I know I'm with you. I'm in the same boat. I'm like, I know it's going to be really good. But God of War 2018 was so good, like so good, that I think it's really hard to match that bar with a sequel, especially one that doesn't look that different from the first game. Everything we've seen of this game so far, I know people are making the joke that it's like God of War 2018 DLC. It's not a true sequel. It looks way too similar, which I think a lot of that, there's merit in some of those comments. I think that is true to a degree. I'm sure this game will push the franchise forward in some ways for sure. But and the story is probably going to be really good, I imagine. But at the same time, I can't shake that. Like, it just didn't show me enough that I'm like, losing my mind over it. It's like I'm gonna play it when it comes out. That's it. We'll see how it is. Is it good? Is it mediocre? Is it bad? I doubt it'll be bad, but is it mediocre? Like, I could see that for sure. Like, this might be an 8 versus like a fucking 9.5. For
Yeah,
the
I
first
don't know
game.
where they're going with the story of the game of the game. So it's like, and yeah, I'm just keeping my expectations low. Not that I think the game's gonna be bad, like
Yeah,
you said. I want to be um I want to be wowed by the game,
yeah,
and I don't want any spoilers. I don't want to see any trailers. I think I only saw one trailer, and that was like when they first announced it, like last year or earlier this year, maybe.
yeah.
I saw one trailer, and I just went dark on it. I'm like, all right, I know what's going. I know it's going to be okay. It's going to be good. Going dark, and
Well,
I haven't looked back since.
yeah, dude. Like, they showed Thor when they originally announced this game. I don't want to see Odin. I don't want to know what he looks like. I don't want any clue what the fuck he looks like. I don't want to have any preconceived notions going into the game. I think the thing about it is, though, this is the thing that makes me nervous, is that they are ending this saga with this game. What they started in the 2018 game, the story for that story, like that arc, is ending with this game. They're not doing a trilogy. They said that, like, that this is going to be the end of that. So if there's any more God of War going forward, it'll be something different. And that's okay. But I do think there's so much from the first game that was up in the air that I'm not sure they're going to be able to satisfyingly close this loop with this game with just one game. Because think about it, dude. We didn't even meet Thor or Odin in the first game. Thor was like teased at the very, very, very end, like in the post credit scene, basically. And the fact that we're gonna meet them in this game and resolve all the conflict with those two in one game is, I don't know about that. Like,
Yeah,
that seems like a lot to squeeze into one game. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm still excited for it. I'm not like frothing at the mouth, like, oh my god, it's so long from now. Like, I'm good. I'll survive till November. You know.
yeah,
So we'll see. Okay, Montrell did spoil our final story, but it is relevant nonetheless. Square Enix, right after God of War was delayed, basically delayed Forspoken. It is now coming out on January 24th, 2023. Montreal, do you think this delay is a good idea for Square based on what we've
yes,
seen? Yeah.
yeah. I don't want this to be another Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm definitely glad they delayed it. But like you said, there are a lot of good games coming out this year, so I hope it's in a really good spot. I don't know. I heard another game's coming out around that time as well.
Yeah,
So
January though is generally early enough that you're gonna be before the major rush. It usually starts in February. That's where it's been most recent years. That's where the rush tends to start. So I think if you get your game out in January, you're okay. You're not really going to be fighting against a lot in generally.
okay, yeah. So I'm looking forward to the game, and yeah, I hope it comes out and it's success. I hope it does. When it does come out, I hope it's successful. I think this is a really good move by them. I would have done the same thing. Everybody's like laughing about it, but I'm like, I would have did the same shit. Like, yo, oh, well, guess what? We're pushing our game back to like December.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Well, think
not
about
only
it,
will I
right?
not
This
be playing
game.
my own game, I'll be playing God of War. So.
Yeah, think about that. Think about it though. This is another game though that's kind of doing something similar to God of War, right? It's the same perspective and it's an action game. Third person action game that's story driven. So it's like like in terms of the gameplay, they're not apples to apples, but it's close enough that like these things will compete with each other, because they are trying to take your time in the same way, um, like as games. So yeah, this game, I think a delay is good. I think it, as much time as they need. I think the interesting thing about this game is I feel like it's going under the radar that this is an internal Square Enix team game. This is Luminous Productions making this game. This is not like some side studio that Square owns or like a contractor that they're contracting this game out to. This is like one of their primary teams making this. So that is the interesting part about that. I do think they need to get it right though, given that fact. So delaying it is probably a good idea.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Well, Montrell, that's all we got for news. Is there anything you'd like to talk about before we depart for the week?
No, we talked about it a lot. I don't know how you feel about it. I I guess we could talk about it for 10 minutes. You've only been on here for like an hour 30. Do you have something? You have anywhere to go or
No,
something like that?
we're good.
Okay.
Let's go. We got conversational podcast, man. Let's go.
So I have a real issue when it comes to video games now. And when they show a different character of the non-standard, I guess, typical white guy, whatever, power fantasy, whatever the case. I have an issue to where it's not that I get annoyed when they show the other character. I get annoyed to where I know what the response is going to be to said character.
So what you're saying is the response to a character that isn't your traditional straight white guy, like a main character.
I already know what the response is going to be, and it annoys the fuck out of me. Yes, I know it's coming. I know the not even the Twitter comments. I know the YouTube comments from like some of the YouTubers that I watch, even right for video game content. They kind of fall into this oh, they're trying to be woke, and it's like, bro, it's just a black character, or it's just a Mexican character, or it's just a fucking Chinese character, or they just so happen to be gay. How is that woke? Like, there are other people besides the standard straight white person or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't get annoyed with it's to the point where it's like now it made me not want to see those characters because I know the backlash those characters are going to get, right? Like I feel like The Last of Us took a huge risk turning Ellie from this like, everyday white girl that, the daughter of gamers, right? Like everybody looked at her as their daughter, and now she's like this fucking tough lesbian chick who's shooting blowing heads off and shit like that. Yeah. Right? I think that was like,
well, and then Abby being a kind of a built female character, that's not standard either.
Built straight a character, with a sex scene, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then people shit on that game. People shit on The Last of Us too because it's just woke, and it's like I'm like, man,
I'm glad you brought that game up actually because I've been thinking about that game a lot. And
I think that game's really fucking good. Actually.
Yeah, dude, that game is the perfect example of what you're talking about because the leaks pre-release made it sound like Abby was a trans, and she was not. There was another trans character in the game, but that was not the focus of the people's ire. It was Abby, and even when the game came out, it didn't shift to the trans character. It was still on Abby. Like everybody hated Abby, and everybody was super upset with Abby specifically because she does something early in the game, as well. But people were really unfair to The Last of Us Part 2, and I think it affected its sales in a very real way. They just announced that the game sold 10 million copies, which is not high for a game of that caliber and a game with that pedigree and the studio that made it, especially given how successful the first game was. I think that game was really unfairly treated for no fucking reason. The Last of Us Part 2 is a beautiful game that is really well written and has great gameplay. I love that game, dude. Like I want to play it again at some point. I might do it when the remake comes out. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I'm saying that, but
the game kind of took in my opinion, right? It took the Game of Thrones approach. And what I mean by that is Game of Thrones, if you watch that show, every character nobody's safe, right? But like everyone in that show that has a redemption arc, or not redemption arc, a vengeance arc, except for Arya Stark. She didn't fall to this, but she still doesn't get satisfaction at the end of the show, in my opinion. Everyone that has a revenge arc fail at the revenge arc because they are so driven by that revenge that even the viewer or the reader is like, I hope they get their fucking revenge, and it never comes, right? And even with fucking I feel like with Ellie, her arc with this character dying, and her trying to fulfill that throughout the entire game, she literally loses everything.
Mm-hmm.
You see it. She even loses the fingers she played a fucking guitar with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you did all that for what? And what do
Yeah.
you have at the end of it?
And her
And
life
I
is like
thought,
shattered. Yeah, it's
yeah.
beautiful. Like I think
And you
it's really well done.
Yeah, and you're gonna tell me that doesn't matter because she's like gay?
Yeah,
Like
right.
you're gonna
Yeah.
dismiss that whole character development like because she's
Or you
gay?
don't want to play a
You
game like that because she's a gay character. Like, come on, dude. Like, yeah, it's juvenile.
it's
This
stupid.
stuff. It's become way too prevalent in video games. But I think the thing about this is like this is a really deep conversation because I think part of it stems from it's like a pendulum swing away from
Yeah.
the liberal games media that have
Yeah.
like totally taken over the narrative of around video games. They have pissed off the average gamer so much that people are literally becoming right wingers, like as a reaction to these
And they
people.
don't even
Like
realize it.
they don't even fucking realize that they're literally becoming like fucking like like extreme right wing people. They hate gay people now. They're like anti-trans, and it's like dude, like guys, calm down, okay? Like they are annoying, yes, but like we don't need to have we don't need to suddenly become sexist, racist, whatever, you know, like that's not the answer. You know, like it's bad.
Yeah, and my thing is they did the character development, and this is how I always want characters to be written.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie was not written around her being gay.
No.
She just happened to be a character in the story that was gay.
Yeah.
And I appreciate and I love that about the game. Like she didn't say, "Oh, I'm gay." She did. You just saw it through her action. You saw it through her lover. You saw it through everything. You saw her personality and everything like that. But like you can switch her love interest with the dude, and the story will still be the fucking same.
Yeah.
Like that's good character development,
and
in my opinion.
yeah, like Stranger Things. I know we were talking about that at the beginning of the episode. Dude, that show it does this same thing in a really good way as well. There are multiple characters. There's a couple gay characters in the show, and yeah, I think the show does a really good job with those characters, like showing them in a like in really positive relationships with other people. So it's that's my thing. I haven't actually seen any anger towards Stranger Things with this stuff, but I would not be surprised if it's out there because it's like you put a gay. It's like you said, it's become so like eye rolly where it's like gay character in show, rah, 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 like there's a mob, with pitchforks, angry about it. It's like what happened, dude? Like we were all cool with this several years ago. Like gay marriage became like federally like a fucking like law, and now it's like we're like repealing it. We're trying to repeal it now, like with the fucking Supreme. Like I don't know what the hell is going on, dude.
Another thing is it's very deceptive, right?
Yeah.
So like, for instance, Obi-Wan. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard so many negative things about the character.
I heard that one too. Yep.
Reva or whatever her name is.
Reva,
I can't remember.
whatever her name is.
Reva. I can't remember the character's name because I haven't watched the show actually. But I don't know if the character's bad because they written her wrong or because she's black. I actually don't know because I can't trust anyone's opinion. I have to watch the show myself now.
Right.
Because like now it's like now I'm almost tempted to defend the character because I mean of course I'm black and I'm like, well, she wasn't that bad, guys. Come on, like, but like maybe she was that bad. And would people be this way towards the character saying that she was a badly written character if she was white?
No.
Like it's just, and that's where I'm at with like a lot of stuff in gaming and in media. It's like, how bad are these characters to where is it because like people hate them because they're gay or because the person is written badly because because they just so happen to be gay and they're written badly, or is because like it could be a number of things, right? It can be because the writers are like just like even myself when I see a black character, I don't need the character to constantly remind me that they're black, and I'm like, bro, I get it, you're fucking black, we get it, bro, you're black, we get it.
Yeah.
Can we get one with? Can you get some kind of other character development besides your blackness? Like, and that's why I like Watch Dogs 2 because that character, the main character, was so happened to be black, but it was like he was also just like a nerd. Like they didn't make the character around his blackness, and I think I'm not gay, so I can't say what how gay people feel, but I'm assuming they feel the same way. They don't want a character to revolve around the constant stereotypes of being gay or bisexual or whatever. Because even like I think um Ellie's girlfriend was bisexual or whatever. And like that's even a whole stigma within that stigma, and like they even addressed that in the game, but that was like the stigma was like addressed, but in a good way. How they written the story and everything like that. It was just really cool how they wrote the story and everything like that. But it's like it's to the point now where I do see other characters of color, other characters of sexual orientation, and I immediately roll my eyes because I'm like, bro, if people are gonna say this character, like I can immediately like look at the character, and like, okay, this character's bad because they just written bad. But I know people are like, oh my god, well, here's Ubisoft trying to be woke again, guys. Look how badly this character's written. Like it's like, no, bro, they just. And it's like you're right with the pendulum swing thing. And I know we probably talked about this a lot on the podcast, maybe 2 or 3 times, but it's just getting to the point now where I'm like, I don't know if it's just me doing it, and I wonder if anyone else is doing it when they see like these type of things and they immediately roll their eyes because they know what the backlash is going to be once they see said characters.
Well, dude, like this stuff. This is the reason I don't want to be a part of the discourse on Twitter because of this stuff, right? But the irony is that I want to have a podcast where I talk about this stuff, But I guess it's easier because nobody responds to me, right? I'm not getting any feedback from anybody about this. So it's like it's easy for me to just say what I think and that's it, and then we discuss it and that's it. We have a conversation about it. But we're reasonable people. Like we both have like we're not gonna like if you say something, I'm not gonna fucking jump down your throat and be like, you're a horrible person, Montrell. Like fucking Christ. Like so it's like I think a lot of people though, the people on the side I would call wrong in a lot of these instances, like they don't want to be preached to, and I think that's what they feel like is happening, but they're having a like their instincts are becoming wrong where they're like literally reacting, they're becoming racist, and it's like they don't even realize it. They're like mad about black characters being in shows because the woke people are preaching about fucking equality to me in my fucking Star Wars show. Meh. It's like, dude, you like you listen to yourself talk, bro. Like you literally are saying something racist right now. Like fucking take a step back, like that's the thing. Nobody has self-awareness to realize that. It's like and then obviously when somebody points it out to them, oh well, you're just a fucking snowflake warrior, SJW, it's like, so it's just it always points back to our lack of ability to have a conversation anymore on Twitter, like have nuanced discussions about anything, because it's just like there's like a line in the sand and nobody wants to talk to the people on the other side of the line in the sand. Like fuck those people, they're on the shitty part of the beach, it's like, okay,
well, almost like my problem is even with Twitter, maybe because I'm immune to like Twitter as far as like what people say on there, because I know people
you've been
are
on
be
it so long, right?
Yeah, I'm just like I just ignore what people like. Somebody tweeted today, oh, we should make homeless people slaves. That would get rid of the homeless issue. And I'm like,
oh my god,
I didn't even react to it. I'm just like, okay,
just
like,
move on,
Twitter.
block, move on. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like I didn't react. My thing is like on YouTube, right? Like people are reacting to stuff, and I don't think they had the whole picture and everything of that nature. And I understand too, like, we went down this rabbit hole when it was the pendulum swing. Like everyone was being, I say leftist and woke and everything like that for clicks, and they were getting a lot. That was generating a lot of clicks. Now it seems like was generating a lot of clicks is calling out wokeness and fake. Oh, they're fake woke guys. They don't actually want diversity, and like that's what generating clicks. And it's like a lot of that shit is unwarranted. And I like YouTube channels like Cosmonaut's channel, even though I don't agree with him all the time on everything he says. Like he said something about Kenobi, but he said the character was bad because the character was just written bad, right? But he didn't say the character was bad because, oh, she just so happened to be a black woman and they're trying to be woke and meet a quota or whatever. And it's like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. it's just to the point where it's just like, bro, I guess. It's to the point where if I see a character on the cover art, like I cringe, but not for the cringe of being woke, but for the cringe of like I know what's coming with this character being a black woman on the cover. Like I know what they're about to say about this.
But that sucks, dude. This shouldn't be that way. Like what?
It shouldn't.
What? I don't know how to fix it though. Like what is it? What do we do? You know? Like what can we actually do? You know? Like actively,
I would say like for instance, right? What if Final Fantasy 17 had a black lead character, right?
Yeah.
You know how quick they would be to call Square like, oh, you guys are fucking woke and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, what if the character's actually very well written? And I think that's the thing. They just need to. I think this falls on the side of the people making the characters. Those characters just need to be well written to where the point where it's like, yeah, I don't like how we're discussing The Last of Us, right? We didn't even care that the characters were fucking gay, straight, whatever. We had a good story. We had some good ass character development, some good plot lines, and it was like we were like, yo, this is a good ass fucking game. And I think that's the ultimate. I think as much as I was shitting on Naughty Dog for Last of Us 1, because I will replay The Last of Us 1 because I didn't like the gameplay of the first one. But Last of Us 2 was the complete opposite, right? It had a good story and it had really great gameplay, and they knew how to. And I mean, they already had a good story, and they wrote their characters really good. And I think they just need to continue with that. And I think like games like even like Walking Dead, right? People love Lee. I mean, they love Clementine too, but they love Lee because we were first introduced to Clementine through Lee, and that was a black character. And it's like,
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's a different time though, right? Think about that.
Yeah,
that was like almost 10 years ago now.
That's damn, you're right. It's true.
Well, think about that. That's pre-Trump, a different era, dude. Like we weren't in this climate, you know? Imagine if that game came out now. You think it would have the same reaction? You think people would talk about it the same way? I don't.
Yeah, you're right.
I think a black male lead with a black child being the like, you know, the partner to that lead. I don't know how that would go over now.
That's wild. Did you say that? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it is. Things change, right? Society changes. Like the whole zeitgeist is totally different than it was 10 years ago. You know, that was like pre-Gamergate, right? Like.
Yeah, because remember we were shitting on Mass Effect 3, not because the characters were gay, but because the story of the characters were written so fucking stupid. Like the pilot and everything like that. That story was just so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
But we weren't saying like, oh, we hate the story because they're gay. We were like, yo, this doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Imagine if that came out today. Whole Mass Effect wouldn't even be a thing anymore. Okay, I mean, it's not anymore. But
well, think about Andromeda, dude. Like, it came out, and you've even said it with that game, right? They like inserted all this like, you know, stuff into it that would be perceived as woke, and the reaction to that game was really poor. It wasn't necessarily. It was kind of obfuscated by the technical issues that the game had, and the fact that the game was bad for the most part. But that was still a discussion point that I remember from it that people had a problem with too. Like there were multiple people that said that, you know, and it I don't know. It's like
the game to me, if I think about the game, honestly, it wasn't even that woke. It was Mass Effect. The only problem I had with it was the way the script was written.
The characters had bad dialogue. Yeah,
exactly. The script was written very Marvel-ish. Everyone was trying to be quippy and everything like that. It was like, it was written during that Marvel era of like when everybody had quips and one-liners and trying to make everything laugh and everything. And that's how that script was written as well. Compared to like Mass Effect, the original trilogy, you know. So that was my biggest.
Even what was that dude's name from 3? It was like every time you talk to him, he would be like, "Yeah, my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband."
I think it was Carlos. I think his name was Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos. Every line, dude, was my husband, my husband. It's just like comical at a certain point.
Exactly.
It's like nobody in real life would talk about their dead spouse this much. Like, I'm sorry.
And they just met you. They just
met you, and you're in a military fucking like spaceship, you know, doing like like you're the shuttle pilot. Like you're not gonna talk this much about this. Like I'm sorry. That's why it's like out of place. Like how much he talked about it. You know. So yeah, it's I don't know. Like that's the part of it is that there's so much subjectivity to the way you perceive dialogue and the way something's written and the way a story is that it's like part of it is you can be like some of these people are saying Reeva's a bad character in Star Wars, right? And Obi-Wan. And maybe that's true, but it might not be true to me or you, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe it's true to me, but it's not true to you, you know? And then it's like, so how do you sift that out from the racism element? Because there's definitely a racism element, you know?
And that's my dilemma, right? Yeah. That right there is my dilemma. Yeah. I don't know how to shift past through. It's so hard for me to like, okay, is this character bad because they're black, or is it because people hate them, or is it because the character is written wrong? Regardless, if I can look at that character, okay, for instance, right, Cal from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I was thinking about that character.
We both wished he was black before the game came out. Imagine
let's think about that, right?
Yeah.
Let's think about that, right? If he was black, I feel like people would be like, "This is the most boring, generic character I have ever seen."
Absolutely, I think that game teeters on the edge of being really good or really bad. Like it's like in the middle. It's kind of mediocre, but I think it's a good game. So it's like a solid game, right?
It's a solid game.
It's like a 7.5 or an 8, somewhere in there, right?
Yeah.
I think if he was black, because the perception of that game is that it's more leaning on the 8 side, right, than like a 7.
Yeah.
I think if he was black, I think you're totally right, dude. I think people would hate that game. Like I think there would be a general perception that game is not good, because I could see people having that opinion right now with him being a white character, but that's not the general consensus, right? You know, so I can totally see that, and that's really frustrating.
And people get upset with me. They're like, "Oh, you just don't like the character because he's white." I don't like the character because the character is fucking boring.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he is the standard white guy in Star Wars.
They made the safest choices imaginable in every way with him.
That he's written safe as fuck. Like everything with him is written safe. Yeah. And so even if you put a black character, I was thinking about that the other day, and I'm like, even if you put a black character on Cal, I would still fucking hate that character because he's written so safe. And it's like. The one character that I did like, I forgot her fucking name, the Inquisitor. I thought she was one of the most interesting characters in the game, and they killed her. Like,
isn't it funny? Like, because isn't one of the people that you travel with, isn't that a black female character too? Like, who's on the ship with you? Yeah, it's like okay, so you got that. Then you have the main villain antagonist is a black female character, but like Cal's like a white guy. Like. Why were those choices made in that specific way? You know, it's like it's so annoying. It's like couldn't you have made Cal a black male character, and then the villain was like a white female character, you know? And there's no white people in the game at all. Like you could have made that choice, but they didn't, you know? Like they didn't do that because maybe they're thinking the way you are, right? They know the way it would go, you know, and that kind of sucks if that's the case. Like that's really shitty because I think it kind of restricts creativity, right? Like people are almost afraid to go too far, you know, certain people, you know.
Well, that kind of brings us like to the conversation, like the sexuality of characters or their sexual appeal, right? Where like you have characters like Loba in Apex Legends who kind of feeds into it, and that is her character, but it's not like offensive, right? It's like, oh, like she's a sexy character and she knows she's a fucking sexy character or whatever. But then you have other characters like Valkyrie, and you're just like, bro, shut the fuck. I want to punch you in the face every time you talk. Like, shut up. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, then there's like Bloodhound who's trans, right? And it's like not even.
It's not even.
You don't even know if you play the game and you don't know that. Like, the game doesn't tell you that. You know,
bro. I played. How long have we played that game? And I just found the character was trans like last year or something like that. And I'm like, oh, the character's trans.
You wouldn't know that. It's not in the game really at all. Like, so.
And then like I think Mirage is like pansexual or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's like the way that character is written, he's like so full of himself that you have no choice but to like either like him or hate him because the way he's written. So it's like I don't know, like it's just the way the character personalities are and everything like that. But I feel like people will be thinking, but Apex Legend doesn't get that whole wokeness arc mark like Overwatch does.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder that. And I don't play Overwatch like that. So I can't speak to those characters, but I remember when Tracer came out, bro.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like
I remember.
it wasn't even the fact that she was gay. It was the fact that her quote unquote butt was big. And it's like, bro, what?
Yeah, maybe they were still hiding at that point. They were trying to figure out a way to complain about the character without being overtly like an asshole. You know?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like saying straight up, "Oh, gay people, fuck that in my video games. I don't want
But
that in my
it wasn't
games." You
even
know?
it was the quote unquote woke people complaining about Tracer's butt being big. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, she was being sexualized or whatever. And I don't know, that was just a weird dynamic. But then you had a Widowmaker right there who was just like ass is as big as a fucking world.
And
Like her
nobody
thighs
talked
are
about.
fucking
Yeah, no, I don't
nobody
remember anybody
talks
talking
about
about her.
it.
Bro, like
Exactly.
come on, bro. Like Kerrigan's like a fucking hypersexualized. Like, but to be frank, it makes her awesome. Like, I think her character, she's like way more intimidating because of that. You know, like I don't know, like
She literally uses it to manipulate people.
absolutely,
And
like
like
bro, she plays Jim Raynor so many times. Based on the fact that he was into her. Like, it's so funny. Like, it's awesome, though. She literally tricks him into letting her kill Phoenix. Like, it's fucking awesome.
simp, man. He was a simp.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, dude, but it's amazing writing. Like, because it would happen like that, bro. Like, it literally would. Like, I'm telling you, Jim Raynor is that guy. Like, he is that fucking guy, you know? Like, so that's I don't know. That kind of shit, like I love that. That in games is like so rare though. Like that writing that good, you know? And I don't know. I wish we got more of it, but I feel
I
like
don't think people value writing like as much
they
as
don't.
much as
Not
people
in
talk
games.
about it.
They
I
don't.
don't think they value it at
No,
all.
I'm a
Like,
weird person in video games. The way I value narrative next to gameplay, most people do not view games like that. They're more like 80% gameplay, 10% story, 10% everything else, you know? Like
Mhm.
that's what they care about. I'm weird. I put them like side by side. They're both very important to me, you know? So
Yeah,
yeah, but I
it's,
don't know. But then if that's true though, then why do people get so up in arms when fucking there's like a gay character in the game? Like it's just like
I, I don't. You know, it was really weird. This is the weirdest one to me. Um, say like a character is like Dante, right?
mhm.
Devil May Cry, sexualized. Um, like the shit that he fucking wears, right? He wears like a fucking trench coat with no shirt, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, the fuck. Like, he looks so weird. Like, it looks okay, but it looks weird. But people turn him into like a sex icon. They make him like gay in their lore and everything, and their own fanfics and everything like
Mhm.
that. And it's like that's that's okay. But then if they sexualize another character,
It's suddenly
like
not
Tracer,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, like Tracer, for instance, right? Like, I guess because like it's not in the character's arc or whatever.
Well,
Like,
I think with women it's different in games because they've been
yeah, it
sexualized
is.
so often for so long and so much by people by men who make the game, right? Men are making the game and they're making these women sexualized.
Yeah.
That's different than a male being sexualized. I think it
Okay, that's fair.
obviously
That's fair.
obviously you know, if we're going to complain about women being sexualized, men being sexualized is also like we should talk about that, but they're not equal really in reality because
They're not.
gaming has been a male dominated profession for developers for a long time and that's changing certainly, but we're not really all the way there. But then we're getting into weird we're kind of getting on we're kind of towing the line though right now on like a weird conversation where it's like, okay, so if you're going to sexualize a female character, does a woman need to be on the dev team and like approve that? Like, are we getting there? Like that, you know, like then we're kind of getting into weird territory there. It's just that I think it's a fair point to bring up though when the history of games is sexualizing women. That's, you know,
Yeah,
so
and I actually, I don't even know why I brought that argument because I actually hate that argument. Like, because you're right. Like, when we see buff dudes, a lot of us male gamers either like put ourselves in that shoes subconsciously. Like, man, I wish I was that buff or whatever the fuck, or like I'm going to get that buff or I am that buff. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of, whereas with like, I'm not a woman, so I don't know how they feel when they see a woman like a character like Bayonetta on screen, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how they feel about that. Or whatever. So I don't even know what to say about that. But it is a whole different dynamic. But it's like, but like even that though, right? If I see a character like Bayonetta come on screen, it's like the opposite of when I see a black character come on screen. I'm like, oh God, I know it's gonna come from this now. Like people are gonna either overly sexualize her, like, yeah, see, this is how you do a sexual character without it being wrong, or like someone on the other side is gonna be like, I can't believe they have this sexual character in here. She's just so sexual, and it's like, with like neither side knowing what the character is. Like there's been like YouTube videos where I watch where they talk about either or either thing, and they just don't know the history of the game or the franchise, and it really irritates my fucking skin.
Well,
and they have like millions of views, and they're just like, you know, like, bro, you don't even know what the game is. Like, shut up.
Well, dude, this is where talking about everything so deeply all the time is such a disadvantage. I don't think things are created to be dissected the way we dissect them, you know, to such like heavy degrees where we are literally going up to them with a fucking atomic microscope and like examining every little detail. Oh my God, this character's hair was standing in this direction. That means they're gay. What the fuck? You know, it's like, it's like, no, dude, just shut up. Like, God, it doesn't have to be that deep. Like, you know, it's like, I don't know. So,
well, you know, that's like with the Monster. That's why I got so irritated with the Monster Hunter videos, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, you know, Monster Hunter was actually designed to be like a survival hunter game because you wanted to feel like a hunter. It's like, no, bro, they didn't have that technology back then. If they had the technology back then they had today, they would be doing the exact same shit.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Yeah. Like, if people don't think about that when it comes to like nostalgia video games or whatever. But I just thought that was like funny because that's a good correlation. Like, we overanalyze shit to where it's like, bro, shut the fuck up. The character is just a woman, bro. Yeah. That's why they just want, like, let's pick a woman this time, also, guys. Oh, okay.
Sometimes, dude, there's nothing wrong with a character being hot. You know, we both just changed our gender in Monster Hunter because our characters look like shit. We both hate the female fucking models and armor in that game. Like, I want my character to look cool. I'm sorry. Like, and if that means like sexually they look hot, like, that's okay with me. Like, you know, it can be taken too far sometimes. Like Dragon's Crown. I remember that game was fucking insane. You remember that
but
shit?
Everybody loved that game. Everybody loves that game.
I know, but do you remember you remember that like witch character that had these the boobs that were just, oh my God, dude. This is like completely insane. Like, that is like, that's too far. Okay. Tracer's butt, maybe not too far. That was probably okay. We didn't need to all point it out and be like, oh, her fucking butt's too big. Some women have big butts, bro. Like, it's not even that big. Yeah, it's pronounced because she's wearing a rubber fucking bodysuit. Like, you know, like, we don't have to all point at it and look at it and be like, wow, her butt's really big and pronounced. Like, no, dude, just leave it alone. Like, you know, like, have you ever met a woman? Come on.
That's another thing too, man. And it's like both sides though.
Yeah.
And it's like the pandering side. Yeah. Like both sides, right? Of course the right side, when they're like doing it, they're like weird about it, right? Yeah. But then like it's like the other side.
Yeah, you know, those white guys who are like who you know, it's like they shut up. They don't need your help to defend themselves. Like, nobody cares about your opinion,
like,
dude.
Have you touched them and touch grass, bro? Like, go outside and touch grass. Like, you're getting all your
the white knights, as we call them.
Yeah, the white knights. You're getting all your viewpoints from online. You haven't actually talked to a woman about this type of stuff or whatever. Right. And it's like even like I talked to a lot of women who like, I actually like those type of characters or whatever. But it's like, it's all subjective, right? Like, it's all anecdotal.
We all have different preferences. Yeah,
exactly. But
that might be
right?
why though we shouldn't be trying to dictate what creators are doing necessarily, you know.
Yeah, and if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, that's where I stand on the thing. Like, if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, like, I don't like one game that's coming out that's being remade is Lollipop Chainsaw.
Oh yeah,
I think the game is ridiculous. I don't like the character. I
Yep.
think she's like
I
super
can't
dumb. She's like,
believe that got greenlit, by the way. Remaking that game. Yeah, I should have put that in the
bro,
news.
it's so many, like on my timeline, so many girls like, yes, I can't wait for Lollipop Chainsaw. Do you know how many times I played Lollipop Chainsaw?
Oh
I
my
fucking
god.
love
That's
Lollipop
awesome.
Chainsaw. And I'm like, bro, like that is like the most stereotypical. It's a blonde white girl with blue eyes in a cheerleader suit cutting off fucking heads
Yeah.
like with a chainsaw
With
with
a
bubble gum. Like, and everybody's like, yes, I fucking love
Yeah.
it. Give me more of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that's the reaction, dude, because that game is like the poster child for like this people being upset about sexualizing
But no
women in
one's upset
games.
about it.
But nobody's upset about it. I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. Like,
Yeah, I don't get it. So
I
it's
don't
like,
know, dude.
like I looked at that game, like that's the one game that people should be upset about, and then like no one's upset about it at all. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm confused now.
But see,
So
that's like where I come. I don't care really either way. Like, if I were making a game, would I make that game? No, I definitely would
yeah,
not make that game. But if somebody else makes that game, am I going to tell them, "Oh, this is too much. You shouldn't make that game"? No, like it's not that insane. Like, I mean, it's a it's a weird idea. It's a little hokey, but it's cool that shit like that can exist, you know, and people like
yeah,
it.
maybe
You know,
it's playing on itself, right? Maybe it
yeah,
knows
it
over
might
the
be a
top,
parody.
you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't
Yeah,
played it. Right,
I
exactly.
haven't
Like,
played it. Yeah, exactly.
right.
So I don't know, like that was a good instance for like Monster Hunter, right? Like the characters, I didn't like the female armor in that game, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's some people were complaining that when I went online, people were complaining that the armor was too sexy, and I'm like, one, if the armor was too sexy, I can see the argument because Monster Hunter is definitely not the place for that. But like, two, the armor wasn't that sexy. It was just fucking
It looks
terrible. Like,
bad. No, it's
yeah,
dude, it's so bland. The designs are terrible. I think the character models don't look good. The female character models don't look good with the armor on. They look
they don't.
fine without the armor on, but when you
Yep.
start putting the armor on, they just look weird. And the designs in general aren't good for the females. We look at Andy's character, who's a male character, and he looks fucking badass. I'm like, holy shit, dude. And I changed my character's gender, right? And I log in and you guys look at my armor. And I got this fucking metal Viking helmet on that was just a metal helmet when it was on the female model. Like, I look fucking pretty cool now. I'm like, you know, I got these bulky shoulder pads that are like fucking spiky and shit. And like with the female, it was a skirt. It was just a metal skirt. I was just wearing a metal skirt with a metal helmet on. I looked like a fucking idiot.
It
Like,
looks so dumb.
yeah.
I couldn't believe that was the same armor. I couldn't believe it.
And like, it was the coolest thing I could find for the female armor in base Rise, you know? And it's like, when you switched it to the male, I'm like, this is better in every way. What the fuck? Like, what the like? Are they trying to go anti like making the women look cool? Like they want the women to look bad so they don't get called out for making them look too good. Like I don't know.
And you know what's funny? This is the first game where like the female armor was just fucking terrible.
Yeah,
like in my opinion, like,
I agree.
It was a
No,
stark
I totally
difference.
agree with you. I've always played a female character in Monster Hunter, dude. Like always, straight up, period. And I've never had this issue with the game before. Like, yeah,
it looked fucking terrible. But then you play games like Lost Ark, right? And I'm like, man, fuck playing a male character,
bro.
I'm playing a female character.
Dude, the Deathblade armor looks so good in that game. Like, for real. Like, oh my god, yeah. No, I'm with you, man.
You know what? So what is she sexualized, bro? I don't care. I made my character.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of it's not even that sexualized too for certain classes. Like Deathblade for me, like there wasn't that much of it. Like a lot of it was like characters fully covered. There's no cleavage at all. Like, yeah, the boobies are big, but you know, whatever. Like that's part of the game. Like, you know, that's whatever. You want, like, women have big boobs sometimes. Like, you know, you want to make that, go for it. You know, it's not over the top, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Some of the classes definitely a little bit more sexualized than others, though. So that's where it's debatable. But I really liked my Deathblade armor, though. Is kind of what I'm getting at. I really enjoyed the look of the character in that game. And yeah, it's like, how is that? Why is that so hard, Monster Hunter? you know, you got this super badass Luna Garan armor, right? For the female. It looks really cool from the feet to the shoulders. And then you put the helmet on, and the character looks like a Girl Scout.
It's so
Like,
stupid.
she's got this fucking icy ponytail coming out the helmet. What the fuck is that? Like, what is it? Why? Like, just give me the male helmet for Luna Garan on the female.
What was
Like,
funny, like the Anjanath armor for the female looks so fucking stupid. And I put the male armor on and I look
Yeah.
like this fucking red Death Knight. Like I
Yeah.
look so fucking cool. I'm
Yeah.
like with this fur and everything. And even Andy was like, because he saw me do the transition from like female to male. He saw the female armor.
Yeah.
And then I logged back in. I saw he saw the male armor. And he was like, "Whoa, bro, that looks totally different and much cooler."
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. It fucking sucks. Like I'm genuinely upset about it. I think there's a reason they gave everybody a free gender change ticket in the game. Like, they know. They fucking know. It's not a joke. And you said you could get a second one. Like,
for free, yeah, you
so
can.
So what that means is if you were male and dissatisfied and went to female and then realized that it's way worse over there, you could go back to male. So they know. They fucking know. They know what they did. Like, don't even fucking try to tell me they don't, you know? Like,
yeah, like it has nothing to do with sexualization of the female characters. Their armor was just genuinely terrible.
It literally,
and I was so surprised. I was so mad on Reddit when I started seeing that. Like, you're like, oh, the characters are sexualized. No, the fuck they're not. Don't y'all dare lie to
bro.
me.
It's like the same people who are talking about Monster Hunter nostalgia. Oh my god, the old games used to feel so much better than Raw. It's like, no, they didn't. You fucking idiot, dude. You'd walk around, your character would turn on points. Like, you would. It's like points on a compass. Like, you could not turn any direction you wanted. It was like literally 8 different directions. That's how the game used to feel. Okay, like fucking stop. You would roll, and it felt like there was a box that your character was rolling out of. Like, you could see it. I could see the box, you know, in my head when I was like, when a monster was coming at me, I was like, okay, does that monster fit in the box when it's charging at me? If it does, that means I can roll out of the attack, right? It's like, you know. Like, that's how Monster Hunter used to feel. It did not feel anywhere near what Rise feels like. I'm sorry. Don't even fucking try that shit. Like, y'all are fucking deranged if you really think that. Like,
I don't know. It's just weird. Like, the whole nostalgia thing, the whole like I know we were talking about like character colors and like when I see a character of color and everything, like everything just feels weird. Now that I'm like older, I'm an older gamer. I think we're gonna be the first generation of older gamers to realize how stupid a lot of this shit is.
Absolutely,
it's gonna be really funny to see when the younger gamers when they kind of grow.
No, they're all gonna call us racist, dude. The younger gamers. We're gonna be like, why do you care so much if the character's got big boobies? And I'm like, they're like, okay, Grandpa, stop being a sexist. You know, like. That's what's gonna happen to us, dude. You know, I was like, this is the thing. I actually want to talk about this real quick because I changed my character sex, right? I made a male character.
Yeah.
And I'm in the character creator, and I'm just making I'm making a white dude, right? I'm making a white dude, and I'm like, it didn't look right, you know. And I'm like, my wife was here, and she's like watching me do it, and she's like, I'm like asking her, okay, how do you like that? Do you like that? And I like go to the darker skin tones, and she's like, that looks a lot better, like why don't you just make a black character? And I'm like sitting here like, I don't know if I'm comfortable doing that. Like, you know, is that okay for me to do? Like, you know, it's like, that's what the world. Yeah, but dude, that's what the world has conditioned me to feel at this point, you know? Like, and then I ended up
feel that way.
I ended up making the character. Like, I asked you, and then I made the character. And I was like, you know what? I think this character looks sick. He looks badass. I like the way he looks. Like, honestly, I'm happy with it, you know? It's like, why can't I do that? I should just, like, there shouldn't be anything wrong with that, you know? It's like, so, fuck it. You know, I did it. It's my Monster Hunter character. No one's really going to see it except for you guys.
Well, even if you were streaming, you did that on stream, I feel like people would have an issue with that.
I do, too. I actually agree. That's why I felt the way I felt, you know? But
I feel like people would have an issue with it, but then other people would have been like, "Well, it's his character. Let him do what he wanted to do." Mm-hmm. Yeah, but why do you have to make a black guy though? Why can he make a white guy? He's a white guy, and it's like, I don't know. Like I take that for instance too, like because people are like, "Yo, why do you like Dante so much? It's a white it's a white rocker dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
this fucking character is fucking cool. Like, I
Yeah,
like the character.
right.
Just because the character ain't black, I mean, I can't fucking like the character. Like, it's one of my favorite characters of all
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Stop
Like,
putting me in a box. God,
yeah, like
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
and yeah, if so, like for me, it would be the opposite, right? So if
Mhm.
I made a white character, it'd be like, oh, so you want to be white now? You cooning?
Oh.
You know, Dr. Umar meme. You know what I'm saying? So
The Dr. Umar memes, yeah, dude. You'd be done. Oh my god, bro.
so it's like,
Oh my god.
it would be a whole thing. It would be a whole thing, bro.
Yeah.
So that is a good question. And I thought when you and Amanda said that, when Amanda's like, yeah, just make a black character, it would make, I'm like, yeah, you can just make a fucking black character, I guess. But then I thought about it too. I'm like, man, what if he was on stream and she said that? Like, how would that go? Like,
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. That probably wouldn't have gone well. Yeah. You know.
It would have been so many like, you know, think pieces on it and everything. There's a Thundernuts wife secretly want a black guy and she wants his character. Like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? Like, where's this
no,
coming
but
from?
that's my point. If all that happened, right? If I was on stream and all that happened as a result of me making a black character,
you were popular,
the most like boring, stale white dude on the planet, right? Making a black character in Monster Hunter, and that all that came from it. Doesn't that prove my point that we analyze things way too deeply? Like I literally just want my character to look cool, and that's it. And I thought that character looked cooler than the white character I was making. Like, period. That's it. That's it. That's it. Like, that's the only reason. There's no ulterior motive. I'm not trying to be woke. There's nothing happening here. Like, it's just I like the way the character looked. Like, that's it. You know,
you would have got think pieces from both sides, and
I
it
know,
would have been fucking hilarious.
I know. Dude, that's my destiny,
evidence
Montrell.
that Justin,
that's my destiny.
That...
If we ever get big, that is my destiny. I am going to fall into this middle wasteland between the extreme right and the extreme left, and both sides are going to batter the shit out of me at all times. Like, that is my destiny. If we ever bring this off the ground, you know, it's like, oh my god.
We should do, if we do get big, we should do that one day. We both like, just one day you make a black character.
The new Monster Hunter comes out and you make a white guy and I make a black guy. Just see what happens. Man, those guys over at the Players Tag, man, I don't know about them, man. Like, what's going on over there, you know? Like, oh my god, dude!
I would have to make
Kotaku and Polygon are like, you know.
I would have to make a white woman instead of a white dude. If I make a white woman, oh my god, that's it for me. Dr. Umar memes and kooky hats everywhere. I'm done.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
Cooked,
you're cooked. You are cooked. You're so cooked if you do that.
So you have a black wife, but you want to make a white woman, my brother? What's going on there? Like, bro, I just made a character.
I would come in. I know this is what would happen. I would come in and defend you, and I'd be like, "Look, dude, white women are hot. Like, shut up. Like, leave them alone."
Oh
okay?
my god, you're done.
I'm done. We're done. Oh my god.
So what you trying to say? Black women ain't hot, bro?
Oh my god. No, not at all, man. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just defending my boy, you know, like.
Nah, man. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's just an overanalyzation of everything, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know where to go from here for a lot of shit. Like, I even find myself doing it when I do see a character, like a black character, come on screen that's in a like traditionally white show. I'm like, oh brother. Yeah. And I find myself analyzing it instead of just watching the content and enjoying it. And that's, you know what, partly that's because of my fault, because I'm on YouTube too fucking much.
Yeah.
Like, I need to get the fuck off YouTube
or Twitter,
and like watch watch
Twitter.
different videos and shit. Bro, you know what I've been watching? And Deanna put me on this shit. I've been watching like fucking cooking videos and shit. Shit is just like turn my brain off and just have a good time with the person cooking. Like,
bro, Food Network. You ever watch Chopped?
Yeah. I
fucking love that show. God, that show is so addicting, man. My parents would have it on when I would go visit them when they still lived in Massachusetts. And dude, we would be like eating dinner. We would eat dinner and then we go sit down in the living room. We just start talking and then Chopped would be on. And all of a sudden we've watched 3 hours of Chopped and we're like, where did the night go? You know, like, why are we still watching this dumb show about people cooking things and really
me and my parents used to watch MasterChef. Like, that was our shit.
Oh yeah, Iron Chef yeah, of course, yeah. Iron Chef as well. Yeah. No,
And
those
what
the
was it?
cooking
Hell's
shows
Kitchen.
are way better than they should be. There's like there's no reason for them to be as appealing as they are, but they are really appealing for some reason. I don't,
Yeah.
So I get you.
Yeah, and I mean that's actually why I started playing like a lot of different like turn off brain video games. Like I was actually that's why I said like last podcast or the podcast ago where they had that I think Nintendo Direct from their third party people and they had a whole bunch of
Yeah.
indie games that would like turn off your brain and you just play this little puzzle game or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, oh yeah, that looks very fucking cool because I need to just turn off my brain sometime. I don't need to see a character. If I want to be a frog who's trying to cross the goddamn street for a certain amount of time, I
Yeah.
can be that. And there is nothing, there is no
There's no
right wing
agenda.
political,
We're not
there's no
trying to
left
push.
wing
We're not trying to push pro frog agendas.
Yeah,
We're not trying to
push
say
nothing.
anything about anti-cars, cars kill frogs. No, none of that. Okay.
And I think that's why I got so mad at Sonic.
Yeah.
I think that's why I got so mad about the Sonic games because
see.
it wasn't like a right wing or a left wing thing. It was just that people had like a certain agenda they were trying to push on the game. And I'm like, bro, I play Sonic games because they're fucking stupid. It's a blue hedgehog winning fast as fuck against a fat scientist, bro, like who wants to destroy the world for some reason. And I don't know why, but I love playing the fucking game. I go to point A to point B. It's probably the same way why people play Mario. It's a fucking plumber jumping in pipes, saving the princess from a dragon. There's no right wing or left wing politics in that dynamic, bro.
Do not Google Rule 34 Mario and Peach.
I
Super
don't.
Mario.
Bro.
Do not. Okay.
Stay away from that. Sonic is worse.
Oh no, I know. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Stay away from that, y'all. Oh my god. Do yourself that favor. Dude.
Like, yeah. That's why I like those games. Like, and I don't know. Maybe I should just open up to a lot of those games. And I know people were shitting on them. Even me were like shitting on like, oh, like look at these like pointless games. But like. These games have a purpose, and that is to turn off my brain when I play them. Like,
this is something I think I do to myself too. Is every game I play, I feel like this is why I enjoy Monster Hunter is because it is a shut your brain off game. Like you're not
exactly
deep. The story is stupid as fuck. Who cares? Fiorane is kind of hot. Like, but whatever. Like, but that doesn't matter. Like, none of it matters. Like, who cares? We're here to kill monsters. Like, I don't care what excuse you give me. A fucking asteroid dropped in the earth, and all these monsters came off of it, and all of a sudden we gotta kill them all. Like,
that's literally the plot of Rise, by the way.
That's all we need. That's all I need to know. Okay. Oh, okay. There's a werewolf looking monster over there. I gotta kill it. Great. Okay, let me go do that. That's why I like Monster Hunter. I think the problem is I have a tendency, like I do care about story a lot. So a lot of the games I play center around having a good story and good gameplay. That's what I'm trying to look for in games a lot of the time. So I end up playing a lot of games that get dissected in the zeitgeist very deeply. And I think there are times where I need to get away from that and just play something that literally doesn't have anything remotely close to a story. Like I don't care. I just need to play something that's just gameplay where I'm just doing some puzzle game or something or whatever. I need to do that more, I think. Honestly, I think it'll balance me better because I this conversation is tiresome to the point that I don't even like when I get on Twitter, if I catch a whiff of any of this, close the app. I'm out. I'm not getting in there. Like I can't do it anymore. Like I don't have it in me because there's no answer. No one's got the answer. Nobody's gonna say something that's the right answer. No one. So we're just going in circles, yelling at each other, telling each other how wrong and racist and mean we are. Like.
No, for real. And then when someone does bring up a good point, it's like caught in the void, whether it's from the left or the right. It just gets
lost. It's drowned.
It gets lost. Yeah, it gets drowned out or whatever. Or they get attacked. Like I'm like, bro, that's actually a good point. And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, now I'm not going to agree with them because I'm not going to voice my opinion on agreeing with that person or agreeing with her or whatever because now I'm going to get attacked or whatever. But no, that's why I like some of my favorite characters and stuff like that are just because they're from brain shut off games. Like that's why I like the character action games like Devil May Cry. Like that game is stupid, bro. Like you want to know the plot of Devil May Cry? The first Devil May Cry, a hot woman walks into the fucking Dante's business, throws a motorcycle at him, sticks a sword through his chest, and he's like, I can't die because I'm actually half demon.
Yeah.
And he's like the coolest guy ever or whatever. And like that's the whole thing.
Bayonetta is just as stupid, and that is about a sexy, hot female witch lady that shoots guns out of her fucking heels. Like, whatever, bro. I'm in. You got me. Okay.
Exactly.
Like, her fucking hair is a weapon. Like, it's just, yeah.
One of the segments, she's riding a fucking rocket.
Yep.
For no fucking reason.
Those games are bonkers. Like, it's great though. Like, it doesn't need to be that deep. Like,
it doesn't, man. It doesn't.
It's just cool.
Even games that are like that are like more serious in nature, but are still turn off brain games, like Metroid, for instance. Metroid Dread, that was a more serious game, but like there's nothing. Like we don't like. There's Samus and there are these aliens. There's Choza, and like the hypest moment for me is when she fucking spoke in Choza, and I was like, oh shit, because she never speaks, right? And it's like I'm like, oh shit,
yeah,
she spoke, and I was like. That's a good feeling, bro. Like Mega Man games. Like, bro, you can't be racist with robots, bro. I'm shooting everybody. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, are you sure? Because all the robots are white. Like,
oh my God. I guess.
I mean, I got you there.
Are they white though, or are they just like plain face robots?
They're all white.
Okay, I guess we can say that.
Yeah.
I say Japanese.
I thought Zero was a girl when I was younger, though.
We all thought he was a girl when we were younger. He was actually meant to be a girl.
It's kind of disappointing, actually.
Yeah, his design was meant to be a girl. Then they changed it to a guy.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the most racist you can get is like Mavericks versus Reploids. Like even Mega Man was like racist towards Maverick or.
I mean, like the whole that's the irony is like so many of these games are literally about racism. Like, yeah, that is kind of Mega Man's like underlying undertone is like racism between robots. Like, it's like. But it's I don't know.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know. Like it's just,
and like Dr. Wily is like a psychopath. Like if the game is racist for not having any like black robots, well, Dr. Wily's a fucking psycho. Like he probably is racist. Like like I don't know.
Yeah. But the thing is, you would not get that from just playing the game. You had to really deep dive into Mega Man to understand.
Yeah, and there's no reason to go that deep on Mega Man. I mean, I
not,
like Mega Man.
I'm pretty sure there's a story out there, a YouTube video out there doing a fucking deep dive that has millions of views. Like,
I like Mega Man enough to know some of these things and like think about this stuff more deeply, but there's no reason to do it. Like the game's story and lore is not that good that it deserves that level of treatment, like I don't know, so but then we're getting into weirder conversations where it's like, oh well, a story only has to be a certain caliber where we start talking about whether it's racist or not.
Like, brother, like,
yeah,
like,
I know,
nah,
it's just like Inception, like it's
and that's why I don't know. I think like how podcasting was like the worst thing to ever grace like Twitter, because not everybody has a podcast and they talk about the most stupidest shit ever. I feel like with YouTube, the whole analysis thing that everyone does is really tiresome now. Like, bro, I don't need like a fucking 20-page dissertation on is Pokemon actually talking about the nuclear holocaust? It's like, bro, I don't. Is it? I don't fucking care, bro. I just want to catch monsters, bro. Like that's it. Is Giovanni actually trying to save the world? Like, it's like, bro,
I saw Mario's hat in fucking Pewter City. Does that mean Mario, the Mushroom Kingdom is connected to fucking Pokemon? No.
Oh, bro.
Shut up. No.
Shut up, man. We don't need that shit. I just want to fucking play Pokemon.
It's just an Easter egg.
I want to. Yeah. That's another thing, too. It's just a fucking Easter egg, bro. Shut up.
It's not that deep.
Everything's meant to be. Yeah, it's not that deep.
It's not that deep. The words to live by. It's not that deep.
Yeah. I live by those two words. Or these two mantras. It's not that deep, and I mind my own business.
Yeah.
If you follow those two words, or those two mantras, or phrases, or whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
your life will be so much simpler. Trust me.
Yeah. So, minding my own business, I definitely live by that. It's not that deep. I try really hard to live by that, but I have a brain that wants to analyze everything to the fucking most infinitesimal degree that
Same.
like it's so fucking annoying. Like I can't shut it off either. I'm at work like thinking about ulterior motives that people have when they're in meetings with me. Like so it's so annoying. Like I can't just have a
Game of
meeting.
Thrones in his head
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah, I can't just have a meeting. Oh, this director's got this agenda doing this, so
You know what? I do the
really
same
meant
shit at
this
work
when he was
myself.
talking.
Yeah, I do the same shit, and I think that's just, I guess, inherent to like the environment we were kind of, I don't want to say raised in, but worked in or whatever. But as far as like outside of that, I really do just try to mind my own business and like leave everything else alone. I don't know. And I used to use Twitter as like a thought dump. Like I dump my thoughts on there and then go about my business. But it's like now I have too many followers where people will like take some of my dumb thoughts as seriously. And I'm like, bro, I was just thinking up some dumb shit. Please do not give me a whole fucking dissertation on that.
That's a really good point about Twitter, that I think everybody always thinks everyone else is running at 100 and they're not, dude. They might be groggy as fuck. They just woke up in the morning, and like they said something stupid, like you have no idea what the other side of that screen looks like, what position they're in, what mood they're in. They might have just got dumped by the love of their life and they're fucking taking it out on Twitter, like you don't fucking know. Like it's just, I don't know. People make a lot of assumptions online. And I think it's really dangerous, and it's annoying how much of the internet is taken at face value when almost none of it should be, So, yeah.
All right, man. Well, already.
Yeah, what was that 10-minute conversation, Montrell?
Yeah, man.
Fucking pain in my ass. God, I'm starving right now. I literally have a pounding headache talking about this shit. But anyways, it was a good conversation, so I'm glad we had it. All right, we're going to close the show out, everybody. So if you like this episode, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show, whatever feed you're listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. We want to get me to internet purgatory, okay? Get me to that battlefield between the lefties and the righties and get me fucking killed, Let's do it. If you'd like to talk to either of us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrapForTheHokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at ThunderNut01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And that is it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week. Bye.